Hello, family, once more to another Let's Play of Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York City. Episode 3, I think we're on now. Yes, episode 3. And a lot of really interesting things happened last time. So I just coordinating potato setup with my phone. Yes, well, rather excited to get my teeth stuck into this again. Just going to wait just a couple of minutes for people to arrive and, you know, do all that shares. Yes, a lot happened last time. We learned about Dakota. We began some investigation work. Yes, lots of really interesting things. Oh, and we can update the thing on YouTube whilst this is playing. Okay, cool. So I think this will be a good opportunity whilst I'm waiting for people to arrive to make it look a little bit pretty. Let's see, what's the one, what playlist does this go in? Shadows of New York NYC. Gonna open that in a new thing again. No, it's not made for kids. Age restriction, new. Where's the art folder? I have to say, in the United Kingdom today, it's a rather wonderful, hot, sunny day. I hope it's the same wherever you are in the world. Where's that artwork? Let's Plays. There you are, you sexy beast, you. Hello, Grim. Thanks for coming along and saying hi. How are you? Go back to that. Edit that so we can add in all the various tags and things. Once this is worth knowing for the future, at least. All this admin stuff. Save. I'll do the rest of it later when it's... because I don't know what's happening just yet. Just chilling. Cool. Chilling's good. Hopefully now when people find this video, the thumbnail that I kind of made by myself. Drinking black tea. Ooh, fancy. Hello there, Helton. Thanks for coming along and saying hi. Ooh, so good to get stuck into this again. And why isn't this loading? YouTube, do the thing. YouTube. There we go. Cool, it's saved the thumbnail. Is that the right episode number? Did I put the right number in? Yes, you did. Cool. Alright, we'll just give it maybe a minute or so more, just to see if anybody comes along, says hi, and the thumbnail's changed back to the wrong one again. The fuck, YouTube, you bastards. By the way, what clan would you be from Clan Hakata? I've always had a strange affinity with the Cappadocians, probably, to answer the questions. I've always felt a bit sorry for them. If I was to choose a Giovanni, it would probably be Dunson, simply because they're the only ones from the UK. Why aren't you saving that thumbnail? This is me talking to the computer, it's not you. Ah, fuck it, we'll do it later. Oh well. What else is there? Nagaraja, not my thing. The Lamier, I'm not really feisty enough for it. Samadhi, I don't smell enough. I don't look like death just yet. Can't say the same. I would be Pisanob or Nagaraja. Intriguing, but highly disturbing. Excuse me. Okay, let's give it a few more seconds, and then we'll confront Artorio, because just before the episode, towards the end of the last episode, we found Agathon's diary. We did some crazy blood magic shit, and we found out that Agathon was after Arturo for something. Now I suspect he found out what happened to Sophie, or his coterie member, Caesar in our case, the Toreador. So maybe she's going to confront Arturo. Julia is going to confront Arturo about that. At the Mesoamerican vibe, Pisanob, have you see? Alright. 5 minutes in. It was 1 o'clock. Let's read. I know Arturo tends to leave the Elysium quite often to take in some fresh air and message people on his BlackBerry, so I'll just wait until I see him. The tactic works. He's surprised to see me. Miss Sawinski, shouldn't you be busy with your investigation? I am, actually, which is why I've come to see you. That's peculiar, because I'm absolutely sure I have nothing to do with this case. Aren't you barking up the wrong tree? That's why I'm here to find out. I assumed you'd want to see I'm thorough. Yeah, sure, I suppose it's commendable. What is it, then? I have reasons to believe that in the last few months you, the High Regent Elsin Sturbridge, and her child, Agathon, were involved in a secretive scheme. His expression changes ever so imperceptibly. I know what they're supposed to say, but I can't get the words out of my mouth. But the difference is palpable to me. For the first time ever, he looks at me as a person. Up until now, I was just an amusing diversion. Now I'm something more, and he doesn't like it. What gave you this idea? I'm not at the liberty to say. If you really want to know, ask the sheriff. Of course, Kadir doesn't know anything, but he's the only one in the court that Arturo has repeatedly failed to influence. He'll think twice before approaching him. I fail to see how this matter relates to the task at hand. I have every reason to think that Baron Callihan was involved, and that he might have had grounds to fear for his own life because of said scheme. He's tense now. Do I have the upper hand? Miss Sawinski, please answer the question. The delicate matter you are speaking of has absolutely nothing to do with Baron Callihan's grim fate. It's a strictly confidential affair. It would be wise of you to stop pursuing it. It would be wise of you to fuck off. Oh, I love Julia. I can't be an investigator if I'm not allowed to properly investigate. This matter is unrelated to your work and should be treated as such. I am 100% convinced Prince Panhard would agree. If you insist on pursuing it further, we can take it up to the Prince and see if her stance differs from mine. But I think you aren't as naive as to waste her time this way. And besides, she'd certainly want you to present the basis for your discovery to the court. Could you handle that? Which insecure answer do we pick, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Again, the first option, RC, is the one we're going to choose. Number 1. I have no response. God damn it. This is his revenge for invoking Kadir, isn't it? I thought so. Is the High Regent inside? She is, but don't worry. I'll make sure to tell her not to waste your precious time, Miss Sawinski. So that's how you're going to play it, you bastard. Well, I guess you win this round. A strategic retreat is my only choice here. I don't have a full deck of cards yet, but just you wait. In a few nights... I'll take my leave then. Yes, do that. And if I may be so blunt, focus on the investigation avenues that aren't utterly imbecilic and suicidal to pursue, miss. I bid you adieu. I curse him under my breath as he disappears inside the art hole. Guess this avenue really is cut off for me, at least for now. 3 names left on the list. I still have some leads to go by. But for now... It's getting late. I should go to St. Patrick's and file my latest report. When I reach the cathedral, Father Leonard is already there. He's not exactly the most punctual person, so I have always feel relieved to see him from afar. Time to move in and move out before I'm noticed by Benoit. Will this be all? I guess so. I rattled off most of it in a hurry on the way here. I guess I'll come up with a more exhaustive report tomorrow night. Busy? Looks that way, Father. Our wayward girl has finally recognized by her superiors. Here we go again. Of course he had to sneak up on me. Servius can't get spoiled just yet, but I feel I wanted to leave a big like. Oh, thank you, nerd. But you always catch up with the previous 2 episodes if you wish. Who knows? Maybe we'll still be here in like 4 hours' time. Even you heard about that. I guess that means every single kindred in the 5 boroughs knows. I know you're an expert when it comes to knowing who's saying what and where, but the last time we met, you promised to share that knowledge with me. Yeah, I was kind of lying. I guess we could cooperate Benoit with this. Yes, it may seem to be going that way. That's the knife commandment broken, Father. Shouldn't you scold her? Don't involve me in your silly games, Benoit. The way you fall for obvious lies stems your biggest failing in communication. And that is? You only pay attention to the what that's being said, not the how. That's... Booyah, motherfucker! Suck it! Annihilated with absolutely flawless diagnosis. Booyah, motherfucker! Unless someone comes up with something better, that's the episode title. Just gonna take a picture. So my memory... roasted. Booyah, motherfucker, suck it. Oh, just brilliant. Shut up, phone. Brilliant. Let's just fast forward that, so it's live. There we go. Burn. Yes, we're just gonna have a fucking frenzy check with that aggravated damage. Child, don't make me regret siding with you. I'm sorry, Father, it won't happen again, especially if you promise to keep verbally destroying that clown. You're in a strange mood tonight, child. Go get some sleep. Yes, we'll continue this tomorrow. I'm not showing up here tomorrow. Yes, you are. Stop breaking the knife commandment. See you around, Julia. Poor Benoit. He says my name in a sickly sweet way that gives me the creeps. I bow to Father Leonard, do my best to ignore Benoit, and head for Dakota's place. Finally, my haven. Hey. Hey. Another tough night. You don't know the half of it. You want a drink? She points to her neck. I manage to summon a faint smile. I'd love to, but you know we can't do this too often. Maybe tomorrow. You want to talk then? Yeah, guess so. Just not about work, okay? I sit down next to her. Not about work. Got it. What's in your mind then? Work. The past, I guess. Meaning? How spotty our memories are, and how, despite that, that's what we build our convictions on. Sorry, it's so banal. I'm just tired and frustrated. Well, let's talk about something more specific then. What did you remember about the time we first met? The time we first met? Yeah. Shit. Not a lot, actually. Those were gloomy, anxious days. I think I subconsciously replaced most of them with blank spaces. I remember you trying to paint your hair black. Ouch. Don't dig up my trauma now, okay? I remember that when we first talked, we talked about Horseu. Houseu? Don't say Houseu, it's low-key racist, I think. Nobody knows what you mean by house. At that show with that asshole doctor. No, the Japanese haunted house horror film that feels like it was written by a 7-year-old with ADHD. In the best way. I love the lighting on the character models. In the best way. Duh. We were arguing which characters in the movie both of us are. You were Kung Fu and I end up as Prof, which was rude. You were dressed up like a total nerd. Not my fault. What was the deal with that suit? I liked that suit. Yeah, it was okay. I remember helping you out with graphic design whenever you needed it. They are so cute. I love them. Funny, I don't remember needing your help with writing or something that tended to happen far more often. Yeah, we developed a fun shared aesthetic with similar surface concerns and it bonded us together even before we made sure we were fully compatible deep down as human beings. Hell, I'm still not sure we are, especially now, with me not being a human being anymore. But hey, At least we both agree that this bedroom feels super comfy. I remember always feeling left out of your social circles. Always knocking at the door from the outside. I feel you, sister. I'll forget it. My social circles were full of out-of-touch, snobby assholes. Yeah, but it felt weird how much they avoided me. And there was that one time with Isabella. All of a sudden, one thing Isabella said at that one party flashes in my mind with startling clarity. After midnight, in the kitchen, without context, she just walked up to me and... She will isolate you and suck you dry, and she'll move on to the next target. That's the only thing she knows. Yikes. Ugh, don't remind me of Isabella. She always resented me. It's been so long and it's all baseless conjecture now, but... What if? What if she really did isolate me on purpose back then? Nah. The glass is half full. The past is Schrodinger's cat and all that. Better to believe in the positive version of events. I believe that's referring back to that trait that we picked up last time. Trying her to be optimistic. Glass half full. Yeah. I wonder how she would have thought if we had the glass half empty. Anyway. Come to think of it, friend or foe, if you don't believe they're on your side, they'll know if one way or the other, and then it's just 100% certain they won't be on your side. Maybe optimism really is the way. Interesting results of the traits. I can imagine. It's nice that they developed this narrative system a bit more with this game. Compared to Coteries of New York. Maybe optimism really is the way. Yeah, forget Isabella. Let's just drop this talk. I'm frustrated enough. I need a reset. Sounds like a good idea. Off to sleep. Yeah, gotta get ready to go back to hell tomorrow. Alright, I'll get back to work. You're working remotely again? Yeah, my office is going insane for so many reasons, and I'm getting cabin fever too. Get some sun. It'll be good for you. Look who's talking. Good night, sunshine. Good night. The Vampire Diary. Oh, we can only rest. We can't go and see to Sophie's ghoul. A few minutes later, after I wake up, I see a message slipped under the apartment's front door. Kadir? Yep. Look like he's got a short window to meet me in Queens a few hours from now. Willets Point, a single suggestion. Thank you, Holly. A single suggestion. Get ready for action. In a way, though, Dakota would be good. Le Sombre too. Birds of a feather flock together. Would be interesting to see how she would cope. Fine then, I will. Best way to do it would be to clear my mind. Just walk it without thinking. Reset the framework. Some fresh air should do it. Maybe a chance meeting with someone could get me out of this mental rut. Let me look at the world from a different angle for a while and improve my mood. Although, when it comes to improving one's mood, nothing beats some crimson red pouring down my throat. Not to mention, these cigarettes taste best with a full stomach. Let's go. Okay. There are two people we can speak of, and I know who both of these people are. This is... Oh, what's the Nosferatu's name? The Ghoul and Adelaide the Malkavian. That's my table. There's no place like home, and I need a little piece. Big beat burger, here I come. But wait, who is this loon? Or... Hide and seek for dummies. I'm being tailed. The last thing I need right now is a weirdo stalker following me every step. Did I take this investigation too far down the rabbit hole? Okay, which one do we... Someone has my password. Sorry about that. I'm getting emails. "30 minutes ago. So apparently my one of my Google things is compromised. I have to change that quickly. And to be honest, that's a bit more important at the moment. Oh, I have to change my password. Sorry about this, everyone. Let's see, hide and seeks might want to make sure the other... Oh, I do. Like, it's a... it could just be the fact that I'm logged in via my PS4 and Google's getting all stiffy about it. But, you know, rather safe than sorry, I suppose. It's probably what it is, but, you know, rather safe than sorry. Let's see, hide and seek for dummies. Okay, that's the one that we're going to go for first. Cool. Okay, that's all set up properly. Yeah, sorry about that. As I said, it's probably just, you know, it forgetting that my PS4 exists. And it's like, oh, this is a strange device. What is it? Oh, shut up, phone. Oh, I should put this on silent, really, shouldn't I? This is a strange device. What is it? Oh, shut up. Ah, feedback. Okay. Feeding dummies. If you have a mildly decent phone, you can use it. Yes, I do. That was kind of how I was sort of aware of it. Anyway, hide and seek for dummies. I'm sure there are better ways of finding solitude than wandering aimlessly in endless downpour. There are nights when I dive straight into fizzed crowd and vicariously enjoy their sweat, the hypnotic moves and mindless self-indulgence. When my body starts to resonate with the relentless wall of sound, everyone disappears and I'm raptured into a perfect kind of isolation. I want there to be an option to feed, as last time we fared was ages ago. That is true. I'm sure if an opportunity arises, we'll take it. And we also haven't used our disciplines that much either, so it's not something that we need to worry about all too much. We've used dominate once, so I'm just hazarding a guess that we're kind of feeding as we're going along, unless we're told we can feed. Then there were those nights when I crash on the couch while Dakota goes on a rant about something so far removed from my area of interest I zone out and enjoy the privacy of my own thoughts. But then there are moments like this one, nights when I just want everyone to shut the fuck up so I can think. Those nights I usually end up mindlessly strolling along the rain-swept streets before inevitably ending up at Big Beat Burger, or at least that used to be the norm before this whole mess. Lately, even that kind of solitude seems out of my reach, especially when I'm being tailed by poor man's Ethan Hunt on a crash diet. He's been following me for 10 minutes, and so far he has managed to bump into an empty newsstand, make enemies of several cab drivers, and even got bit-slapped by a living statue while trying to blend in. As he shortens the distance, I grab a nearby lamppost and swing myself round like Gene Kelly, using the momentum to quickly turn around and look right at him. Oh, hell nah. Oh shit, maybe the BBB would have been better. Well, this guy's a ghoul, if you've played Coteries of New York. I cannot remember the name of his Domitor, the Nosferatu. He springs up into the nearest alley. I wonder if he thinks that somehow I did not notice. Which one, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Two. Ah, fuck that guy. It's not like he'll keep following me after this fiasco. I'm about to walk away when an obnoxious voice not belonging to that creep catches my ear. It's coming from the same alley. It's followed by a loud crash from sounds like the metal side of a garbage dumpster, followed by a painful moan. Maybe the stalker got himself into trouble. 1, 2, or 3? Two. I should let that creep deal with this himself. I should, but I won't. Can't have a moment's rest in this goddamn city, can I? As I barge into the alley, I notice 2 hooded jocks bullying my scrawny stalker. While the big guy wrestles with a high-tech smartphone, the sleek one keeps punching. How nice of them to share responsibilities. Okay. Discipline time. Potent, dominate, or oblivion. Well, congratulations, Grim. You're going to give me a reason to feed now. 2. Dominate. Boring. The roughneck notices me. He drops the phone and looks into my eyes. Big mistake. He freezes in place as I bore into his mind. Grab the little guy and keep running east as far as you can. The thug stiffens, like it's the first time a complex idea has ever popped into his head. He turns towards his mortified buddy, grabs him kicking and screaming, and takes off like a cartoon caveman with a kidnapped bribed slung over his shoulder. Their struggle seems so comically out of place in this dingy alley, I can't help but chuckle. I pick up the peculiar smartphone on the way over to the stalker. It doesn't take a genius to figure out it belongs to him. The screen is locked and glitches oddly as I soon touch it. No surprises there. Do you have a character sheet in this game? Nope. No character sheets. The stalker seems relieved at the same time, unnerved by the fact I'm holding his property. He tries to exhibit some confidence, but his trembling voice undermines the effort. Listen, I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything, but I'd like that back. It's not like you've got use of it anyway, right? The nervous smirk on his already punchable face, kinda makes me wish I'd left him to his own devices. Do we miss a character chance to feed? No idea, this is my first time playing. Like, I don't know that I'm going in this blind, so I'm letting you guys choose. I'm of two minds about handing over something I could have used to gain leverage over the sleazy asshole who's been stalking me for God knows how long. Which one? 1, 2, or 3? Two. This yours? Yeah, I like it back. You would, wouldn't you? Here's the deal. You start talking and I don't crush this thing to pieces. Give it back, or... I give the phone a little squeeze and show the slightly deformed case to the pockmarked guy. You were saying? Okay, you got me. I'm cornered, yes, I'll talk. Just throw me the phone, please. He sounds pretty desperate. Fine, it's not like he's going anywhere without my consent at this point. And he tries to start some shit, the smartphone goes back into my hands and under my heel. There you go. He catches the phone with the liveliness of a little boy getting his first video game console. Thanks, Jules. I really appreciate that. He knows my name and makes a point of bragging about it. Not particularly subtle. Why the fuck are you following me? Are you with the Camarilla? Did somebody tell you to watch my steps? He looks confused when I mention the sect's name. I realise after the fact it was probably a really stupid thing to say to a random creep. Not sure what a Camarilla is. Sounds tasty. But my boss is an important guy. You want to be on his good side, let me tell you. That said, he doesn't tell me anything I don't need to know, and all I know is he wanted me to keep an eye on you tonight. Something something, you're being watched, something something, powerful friends. That's the best you got. You're not getting anything else from me. If you want to finish with those alley rats started, go ahead, but you'll be wasting your time, Jules. The loser seems to brace for a hit, contorting his face into a confusing grimace which was probably meant to express bravado. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. Fair enough, but call me Jules again, and this time when you lose your phone, you'll need a proctologist to help you find it. Kinky, ain't you? I'll see you later. You won't if you know what's good for you. Maureen, hello! I am doing well, thanks. He doesn't respond. As he limps away, I realise that the rain is slowly letting up, and that once more, I'm left with more questions than answers. Oh, Jesus Christ, French. C'est la l'efframe de mes faits. I decide to get on with my night and focus on the relief that comes with realising I'm not the vulgaristic object of some creep's interests. Been there, done that, wouldn't recommend. Time to get a move on. It's time to get back to work. I step inside the subway and head for my meeting with Coteires. Oh, for fuck's sake, I thought you were kidding. Nope, I couldn't reach her, but I know for a fact Hope is there. He's pointing in the direction of the double spiral building. And what is she doing there? I understand she's the current leader of the company, acting CEO, to be exact. No, you're pulling my leg. Of all the places in the city, The company that brags about creating IT solutions of the future, always surrounded by rumours of monstrous workers' abuse, all sorts of ethical violations, trading information with governments, and ending the career of a certain promising journalist and professional fuck-up who attempted to investigate them seriously. You might be able to ask her both professional and personal questions. Two birds with one stone. I don't get it. Last time I checked, the company belonged to Cara Montgomery. There we go. Cara Montgomery. I just realised I was pronouncing that word so wrong all through the last episode. I'm told she quietly took a sabbatical a few months ago, and it sure looks like the kind of sabbatical you don't come back from. I'm going to choose this option simply because I know what the answer is. Corporate backstabbing? Not a single corporate shark is as good as drawing blood as a patrician kindred. Pretty sure there is a bigger powers involved. Patrician. Oh right, Clan Ventru. Huh, I've never heard them refer to that as before. I remember I was shocked when I first learned that one of my nemesis back in my old life was a vampire all along. When I realised the position made her untouchable to me, I was beyond mad. Well, whatever. It couldn't happen to a nicer person. What about her brother, Jesse? You're asking me. Last time I checked, you were the expert on this company. I just handled the basic intel for you, even though I shouldn't even really be here. Yeah, and I hope you realise I'm grateful. You better be. So is Hope just another corporate shark? Well, she is a child of Carter. A theatrical pause. He smiles as he sees me wince, but very much unlike him. He took her in for a particular multi-faced talent related to the internet, knowing he's hopelessly behind the times in that regard. I hear she's been unruly, though. Well, unruly is good. I can work with unruly. So you're telling me that she might just not be a stuck-up start-up bitch? Carter is extra creepy. Alright, noted. Language. As I've told you a few times now, when it comes to the internet, just assume I haven't the slightest idea. I'm getting there myself. I haven't been able to check my email for 5 months. I have no idea what the kids at BBB are talking about most of the time. Oh my god, I might be getting old. Don't worry. The moment you realise you don't give a damn about those fads you would have cared about years ago is a liberating one. Been there, done that. At the beginning of the 20th century. Old. Anyway, you'll probably hear Hope's story straight from the horse's mouth. I don't have much time, so I'll get straight to the point. You should be looking at anything at the main building. It's just a front. Ignore it. What you want to do is use the elevators to get to the lowest floor of the building. Psh, I heard stories about double spiral basements, but I had no idea what to make of them. Every source told me a different rumour. Did I even tell you of a rumour about an army of underground ghouls? No, but I'm all ears. Double Spiral employs an army of ghouls as a cheap workforce. They work and live underground away from prying eyes, with lesser rights than regular Kine employees. Perfect for business. Loving the gameplay so far. Gonna take my leave to binge watch other videos. Keep up the excellent work. Ah, thank you very much. Look forward to next time, Mr. Doe. Wow. I'm actually speechless for a second. I had profoundly low expectations of that company, but every time I learn something new about what's going on behind the scenes, I'm still surprised at the level of scumbaggery at play. I'll leave the moral judgments to you, expert. In any case, you'll need to reach room number 507 where the CEO supposedly resides. Ah, the employee wage slave. And then? Get Hope to answer your questions. His old-timey flip phone vibrates. Speaking of, if you've got any left for me, it's now or never. I'm needed at the art hole. Now. Interesting. Alright, folks. Which one? 1, 2, or 3? Two. You're going for all the options today, Grim. How should I approach the building? I've told you everything I know, just do what I do all the time. And that is... scout the situation, then decide. Right, I forgot that's what you do all the time. You mean scouting? No, stating the obvious. The phone vibrates again. Well, that's it for me. Artura's pestering me to show up at the Elysium 5 minutes ago. Tell him I kindly suggest he could go fuck himself. Not in 1,000 years. Well, good luck with your mission, soldier. With a mock salute, he disappears inside his car and drives away. Nothing left for me but to head in. Still, I'm anxious. There are 2 approaches to choose from, and whichever I pick, I will have to stick with it. If I force my way in and assert my authority, bad cop style, that should make an impression. Bad bitch coming in with an entire court behind her back, bluffing her way to victory. I wish Julia would be nicer to Coteires sometimes. I like the relationship they have. That's just Julia, she's just like that with everyone, really. Sneaking in politely asking for cooperation seems like the less disruptive, more me option, but it's not like being me has taken me anywhere thus far. Shit. I kinda wish I still stuck in my routine where I still didn't need to be doing things like developing personality. It's a bit of a coin flip, honestly, but I've got to make a choice here. How do I approach double spiral? Alright. Aggressive or covert? Covered. 1 or 2? I saw 1 first, so we'll go with that, Corvic. Trait updated. Ooh. Yes, being cover hasn't exactly been working out for me. Time to show them, and myself, I guess, who's boss. What's the trait? A little abuse of power never hurt nobody. La Sombra has leveled up, I see. Haha. Okay, this may go interesting. I'm kind of excited. Terrified, but excited. As far as I'm concerned, I'm out of all companies in the world. This one deserves to be thrown out of gear the most. Time to be a bad cop and finally get somewhere. Alright, let's do this. I enter the front door. There's a guard watching the security cameras. He stands up expecting me to state my business. I'm quite sure that abuse of power tends to hurt people. Oh, you're absolutely spot on. Quite a La Sombra outlook, I see. This is becoming more like a La Sombra. Well, of course. It was going to happen at some point. Shut up. I'm expected. It's not hard to fuck with his mind. He gives me a confused nod, slumps in his seat, and zones out. I enter the elevator and press the button to the lowest floor. I pump myself up a bit as the elevator descends. Hello, double spiral. Time to make a mess. When I leave the elevator, I immediately head into the corridor in front of me and announce my presence. Yoo-hoo! Anybody home? Big bad Kindred out here. Better answer before I start making a mess. A pink-haired girl emerges from one of the corridors, looking quite angry, probably one of Hope's ghouls. Stop right there. Who the hell are you? We've seen this woman before. She was in the nightclub in the first episode. Julia Sawinski, the La Sombra representative for New York City. Who the hell are you? I'm Nasta, Double Spiral's head of security. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. PSA, get your flu shot if you can. Just scrub myself clean from the first flu patient from the season. Of the season. Duly noted. Ron, you're gonna have to make me leave. I walk past her. She tries to catch me and stops me, but evading her grasp is child's play. Ghouls. I swear to God. Boss, we've got a problem. Some lunatic waltzed right onto the office floor, claims that she is a The door at the end of the hallway is made of a reinforced glass. I focus all my strength and kick it in, interrupting the girl. Tell her I'll be right there. She's the only one I want. I reach the double spiral offices where, like Coteires said, hordes of ghouls are slaving away for their company, deep learning, spyware, social media manipulation, yada yada. The important thing is, if they don't turn away from their displays. They keep sweeping gadgets off their desks onto the floor, making Nasta madder and madder. Don't make me use force. Oh, I'd love to see you try, ghoul. Even if you manage to put me down, I'd love to see you explain it to the sheriff, my direct superior. Listen, lady, I don't know what it is that you want. I've already told you, stupid. I want your boss. She's not here. Cara Montgomery is taking a sabbatical. Don't play fucking games with me. I want to see Hope. Hey you, the goofy looking glasses guy wearing an anime t-shirt. Where can I find room 507? He raises his hand listlessly, pointing me in the right direction, prompting Natsa to kick his chair in frustration. I head that way and eventually reach the corridor I was hoping to find. Ooh, that's creepy. Of course, her being a La Sombra, she doesn't appear on cameras things very well. I slowly walk to the end of the corridor. There it is. Room 507. The door looks harder to take care of than the other ones in this place. Probably won't be able to take care of it if the same way I did the others. The door to the office of the current double spiral CEO. This fucking company. I get pissed off, but I'm trying to control it. There's a camera by the door. If she knows what to look for, she can probably see I'm here on her screen. But just to make sure, I knock on the door. Hope? I'm a Camarilla detective and I need you to answer some questions. Hope, I know you're in there. Open the door. I'll not leave until you do. I'm here on behalf of the sheriff of the New York City. Hope? I keep pounding on the door and calling her name. After a minute or so, a voice rings out in the intercom. Is this thing on? I guess it is. Alright, I got your message loud and clear. I'll meet you in the offices. I'll be right there. In the meantime, please refrain from making a mess of our offices, will you? Knowing poor Natsa, if she was due for a heart attack, she would have had it by now. Thank you for your cooperation. I will be right there. Ooh. It's weird seeing Hope in a suit. She's got all those lovely tattoos. Still a very interesting design, but I preferred her in a weird dungaree outfit, to be honest. It's still pretty cool, though. I'll give it that. Anyway, what's up? On the one hand, clothes you could reasonably expect to find in any CO's wardrobe. On the other, a body covered in tattoos, flashy jewellery, dyed hair and wild makeup. It is a weird design, but, you know, she's a Malkavian. The thought that she might be yet another CEO playing the nonconformist crosses my mind, but she strikes me as someone who's more than happy to live in her own little bubble. Still, I won't be fooled. She is the boss of Double Spyro. So about the way they are lighting, how it makes me think of a hawk. Yeah, I can see that. So, how'd you find me? Sheriff Kadir al-Asamai did. You'd have to ask him. I take out a new cigarette without thinking. You can't smoke in here, lady. Just let her. Don't treat me like I'm your enemy. I come in peace. Peace my ass. A deep, relaxing drag. So I'm having to guess that Natsa is Hope's ghoul, which would also make her design quite an interesting one. Not my fault you couldn't handle me. I had at least 5 opportunities to subjugate you. I just chose not to, because I had a hunch the boss might benefit from seeing you. I trust your hunches that much. You trust your hunches that much. Hunches have got me every job I ever had. Hunches saved my life any time I got into a messy situation. These days, the reality is too complicated to relay anything else. Can't find a better head of security than our Natsa, and our hunches are the main reason why. They're like a sixth sense. That's some powerful fucking awe-spec she's got going on. 1, 2 or 3, folks. I saw 1 first. A corporate rebel, huh? Wouldn't take you for a brutal enforcer. I mean, duh, that's the idea. You want to be an unexpected threat. I mean, the whole rebel aesthetic versus the whole bloodthirsty corporate dog thing, is that meant to be a disguise? Nah, I've always been in an alternative shit and hating the system, and I've been dressing like this for a while, long before I got a taste of hope. No moral confusion about it? Natsia shrugs. Lady, in this city we've all got corporate dogs in one way or another. I just cut out the middleman. More money for me, more time to pursue my own thing. So you're a sellout. Please, check the bio of any alt music icon who presents themselves as a radical. Their parents? Always these rich fucks. Military, CIA, predatory loans, old money, whatever. And they never own it. Always squirming any time someone asks about the position of privilege they've used to sell their maverick image. Me? I have to get my own hands dirty to get anywhere, so I will. Quell surprise. I actually get her. That cynical attitude is too tempting. Lovely chat, girls, but I'd loved it if you saved it for later. I'm CEO now. I have a lot of duties to pretend to handle. I just need to ask you a few questions. Sure. Yeah. Call me if you need me. I've got a weird hunch about this one, too. What gave you that hunch, Natsa? The way I made the mess out of the entire four you were supposed to protect. We'll talk security later. Don't worry, this shit happens. For now, take 5. Natsia leaves, and I'm left alone with Hope in the corner of the office. It feels funny to stand here in front of you. Oh, and why is that? You people had me fired from my job before I was embraced. Ah, I see. You're that, Sawinski girl from Lodestar. Yeah. Somehow I never put 2 and 2 together. So you're the sombre rep for the city now, huh? She's talking to me. She keeps tapping at her phone with terrifying speed. I don't feel like I have her full focus, and it's getting on my nerves. Just so you know, I have no idea why you've taken Cara Montgomery's place, and I doubt you tell me, but the bitch deserves to burn in hell. Hell yeah, she does. Yeah, I was going to say that was going to throw Julia off. Wait, did you just admit... Hold your horses. No, Jesus. This is why normal CEOs pay for PR people to talk for them. I only agree that she's a horrible person in every way that counts. Nothing more. Does she know that's what you think of her? Why does she let you take a position in the first place? What? I'll just cut through the bullshit, okay, Miss Lodestar? I guess this is about Jesse and Cara covering his creepy ass. I spent months on this case and you'd like some closure. Pretty much. Well, here's your closure. Double Spiral has severed practically all ties with them. They don't work here. They get no company money. They probably won't ever show up here again. The company's not the circus anymore, and the workers are not their monkeys. I'm in charge now. So yeah, if there's anything you like from me, I'm all ears. It wasn't just Jesse and his sister. This company has ingrained structures of abuse and immoral... I've ordered internal investigations and audits. Everyone related to those illicit activities was disciplined. Legal actions, firings and rebukes, all depending on the severity of their misdemeanors. I don't have a stomach for all that creepy corporate shit, so I'm trying to steer the ship in the right direction. Don't know what else I can tell you. For fuck's sake. No matter how hard I look at it, she seems like she's done everything I'd hoped to achieve. The Montgomery clan is over. The Queen Bitch, a symbol of everything that's wrong with tech CEOs, is gone. Jesse, that perverted, embellishing son of a bitch, is gone. I should be glad, so... Why is there a sinking pit in my stomach? Which one, folks? 1, 2, or 3? I have my suspicions of which one we should choose. Let's see what you pick. Have a drink whilst I'm waiting. 2. I'm surprised. So that's capitalism, huh? Is it? I think it's something worse. When I look at the online world, I don't see capital ruling us. I only see incomprehensible vectors. unknown entities constantly opening and closing various markets of information. This is something else worse than what familiar 20th century terminology taught us. I don't know what it is, but it's terrifying, and it will continue until we've given it a name. But you look like you need emotional support, not my depressing philosophizing. Well, shit sucks. I'm sorry. The biggest case in my professional life, solved by some weirdo who fucked Cara and Jesse over presumably underhanded ways. It doesn't get more anticlimactic than this. Fucking hell. I want to ask her how she did it, but why would she tell me? All I can guess is that she's an outcast who decided to get her hands dirty and obtain power to do something she considered good. What up, Emma? Ever my cavapoo, she doesn't seem right. What do you want? Oh, you wanted me. Okay, cool. This works. Something I've always been afraid to do. Anyway, I feel for you, but I have a lot of work to do, so if this wasn't a trip down memory lane and you have any other questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, okay? I feel like a car just ran over me, but I need to keep my shit together. Right. A few days ago, the Anarch Baron was found dead in his office. Are you familiar with the case? Douglas Callihan. Of course I'm familiar. Every Kindred online is talking about it. And what are they saying? They're accusing everyone. I mean, it is the internet. Are they accusing you? Why would they do that? I found a peculiar note in Callahan's remains. It had your name on it. Huh? What can you say about this? Nothing. I never met the guy. I've never seen him. He wasn't my crowd. Then why would he have your name, a note with your name in his pocket? Why were Walt Disney's last written words were Kurt Russell? No clue. I watch her closely, but nothing suggests she's hiding anything. Well, the note actually contained 3 other names and nothing else. Agathon, D'Angelo, Tamika. Ringing any bells now? Her finger, which hasn't stopped moving across the phone touchscreen since I first saw her, freezes. Yeah, it kind of does actually. It's a short list of promising unaffiliated kindred that was making the rounds in New York City a few months ago. In any case, anyone needed a hero for hire. I don't know Callahan had it. I know Sophie Langley did, as a few Primogen. Not sure about the Anarchs. Who could have prepared this list? One of the local information brokers? A short but telling pause. Anonymous. How anonymous? Carver, that was the Nosferatu's name. Sorry, that's just come into my head. Sorry. Anyway, sort of anonymous. She's obviously conflicted about whether she should tell me. Or maybe she's pretending so I won't worm it out of her. She's making a mess of her office's work. So might as well put on the tough guy act again. I have nothing against them, anonymous, or it's my best interest to hurt them, anonymous, because if it's the latter, we might be in business. She briefly considers her options, then gives up. It's my sire, Carter von there. Ah. And I kept saying in the playthrough of Coteries of New York that her sire wasn't Carter, it was the woman that she killed in Coteries of New York. Spoilers, by the way. I thought it was her. But I guess I was wrong. Bad me. Oh. He's broking information. Everyone knows becoming the Prince of New York is his ultimate goal, that he wants to make friends in all the high places. Sharing useful intel is a pretty effectual way to achieve that. So you're telling me that a Malkavian Primogen sold this list to an Anarch Baron? Sure looks like it. Why would he suggest his own child to somebody? To have a person on the inside, just another way to further his information web. Wouldn't they realise that you two are close? The story goes around is he left me alone and I hate his guts. Well, at least half of that is true. She's talkative, probably sees me as a way to undermine Carter. Let's see how much further I can push her. Huh. I was wondering how someone like you could control a company like Double Spiral. I suppose a friend in high places would explain it. Yeah, lucky me. Which one, folks? 1, 2, or 3? one. Not happy about being a girl boss, leading one of the biggest IT companies in the country. A boss, huh? She stares at a dozen displays on the wall in front of her. That's a cool pose. Those platforms, though. Those are intense. Do you remember the Y2K era internet? Jesus, I barely remember the internet at all. My people can't really use it. But yeah, I sort of remember forums, geosites, browser wars, all those handmade amateurish web pages. It was a golden age. Everyone was welcome to freely express their creativity and obsessions in this abstract new frontier. No formulated rules, every site was a distinct new universe to explore. You know, as a kid, for some reason I kept saving every web page that moved or changed me in some way. I don't even know why I did it, but today, a folder with these is one of my greatest treasures. Fast forward to today, I'm the boss of a company that has every one overreaching goal. Steer the online narrative in every possible way that benefits the Camarilla. And because the online world is so fucked up right now, I guess I can only use 5 websites or so. Every day I deploy thousands of believable stock puppets to force some belief on the masses. Right now they are being managed by all these ghouls. Soon they'll be partially managed by AI. Basically, an all-American version of the Chinese 50-cent party, a new pattern of public opinion guidance. Ever since I was a teen, I've pretended to be different people online for fun. Apting the posting patterns of others was something I turned out to be horrifyingly good at. I became even better at it after the embrace, something about the voice of Malkav in my head. After several years I became a one-person internet empire. I could impersonate anyone. What does that say? I dream of tulips, a humble florist from Chattanooga who strives to share positive energy with their audience using photos of beautiful bouquets and motivational quotes and The Office gif. Volva Hufflepuff, a single mum from Brighton, I presume it's Brighton in the UK, who reckons all these trans women must be bonkers and spend seemingly every waking moment of her life having a row with everyone who disagrees. Polygon classicist, a 19-year-old kid from Utah who keeps posting Y2K 3D renders of poorly proportioned, scantily clad ladies and telling his audience to remember what they took from you. Somehow this talent got me here, where it's no longer fun but work. Work I usually entrust to these ghouls, because of all my duties. I want out because my entire fucking mind gets monetized. But Carter won't have it, so I'll keep doing my best for both him and Double Spiral's investors. So that's why she wants me to look at him. I assume most of your operations focus on New York City? A lot of them, yeah. How did you imitate a New York voice of those stock puppet accounts? Living in Manhattan and being mentally unstable makes the shit easy. See you later, Helton. Enjoy that coding. Well, to the best that you can do anyway. To a normal, well-adjusted person from the outside the city, everyone here seems mentally unstable. Ever watch that 9/11 Howard Stern show? No. Check it out someday. It's educational. Ask anyone in New York City about it and they're like, it was a good bonding moment. He was helping us and make us sense of everything. He kept saying that what we were all thinking. Then you listen to it, and it's everyone's yelling that we need to nuke something, maybe the entire world. Get rid of Muslims, fuck human rights, no investigations, take their oil. Cheery. You watch it, you study it, and you witness the specific brand of humour in the face of tragedy, and you understand that nothing outside of New York City really exists for the people who live here. Or the vampires. Excuse me. Just going to take a mouthful of water. Delish. A foundational text, really. Whenever I need to get back in that mindset, New York mindset for work, I let it play in the background. Works like a charm. Seriously, give it a shot sometime. Someday I might. For now, I think I'll confront Van der Weyden with what you've told me. Or is it what you haven't told me? What's the story? Me? Of course I haven't told you anything. You're such a good investigator. You figured it all out by yourself. And if he asks, just tell him Kaiser, oh, not Carver, Kaiser, sold you the info. That should do the trick. I see. Thank you. What for? I did nothing. Let Natsa show you out. And if you don't know Varn's address, just ask her. Thank you for having me, Mr. Varn. Nice office. No need, no need. I'll be happy to assist your investigation in whatever way I can, Miss Sawinski. That sickeningly sweet smile in this office, spacious but oppressive. He's a man who knows how to subtly unnerve people. But does he even realise it? And I'm sure the presence of the esteemed Addison Payne will guarantee I'm totally transparent. Am I right, Addison? Looks like I've interrupted a friendly meeting. In the far corner of the room I spot glasses of blood and 2 spittoons, vices and volleys of the rich. Are you sure I'm not wasting your time? Not at all. Not at all. Busy as I might be, I can't say I'm not curious about the findings in the case. Yes, my thoughts exactly. So how are you handling your newfound responsibilities? I'm managing. I'll start by asking the obvious. Where were you the night Douglas Callihan met his untimely demise? Van der Weyden raises an eyebrow and then lets out a restrained chuckle. Hear that, Addison? I might be suspected of foul play. Exciting, isn't it? Carter, no antics, please. Just answer the question. Of course. Well, I was right here. Like I told you, Prince Panhard, as much as I love to celebrate my power, sometimes want us to celebrate the amount of work piling up on their desk. So your alibi is, you were right here. Alibi? Ha! I suppose. Can anyone back up your story? Well, I did make a few business-related phone calls as working, so there's that. That doesn't really answer my question, does it? He regards me with a stare reserved for a troublesome child. Miss Sawinski, this right here is my private little fortress, a space specifically designed to make me focus. I don't really let people in to break their focus. That focus. Aside from occasional esteemed guests such as yourself, of course, and a wonderful Mexican woman responsible for cleaning duties. So you don't have an alibi. The look in his eye screams, why wouldn't you at least pretend to try and on board with my program, kid? I suppose, but why would that matter? Because I found something that belongs to you on the victim's person. Pardon me? Took the words right out of my mouth. We're not talking a murder weapon or something of that caliber, I suppose. No, it was a short list of 4 names, unaffiliated kindred whose services would be useful to anyone interested in toppling the current power balance in New York City. Tamaka, Hope, D'Angelo, Agathon. Excuse me, Sawinski, but I'm afraid I don't follow. How is that something that belongs to me? I have it on good authority that it's a shortlist you've been shopping around to anyone interested in New York City, be it the Camarilla or the Anarchs. Addison tenses up, and his host is not happy about it. This is just preposterous. I'm calling your bluff right here, miss. No, the bluff is coming right now. Miss von der Weyden, if you want to voice your concerns about the information I have, how about you voice them to Kaiser, not me? Addison turns to von der Weyden, clenching his lips and gripping his wheelchair armrests tightly. Oh, he's even more creepy when he's not smiling. For a brief moment, that ever-present smile on von der Weyden's face goes missing, and the expression that replaces it reminds me of a horrifying void. Like a sneak peek into what's really going on in his soul. He quickly collects himself, but the image is burned into my retinas. To think these sorts of unsavoury rumours are circulating around me, I should be grateful you let me know. So you're denying it? Of course I'm denying it. Categorically. You can bet your life savings on it. I certainly hope it is nothing more than an unfortunate blunder. Et tu, brute? Come on, Addison, we've known each other for years. Yes. And what about it? I will... Oh, sweet Jesus, Addison, I'll get back to you in a second. Any more questions, Miss Sawinski?
Any of the names on the list sound familiar to you? No. I mean, yes, that is my long-estranged child on your list, but that's just another reason why I'm flabbergasted anyone would consider it mine. I see. Well, I hope you understand why I'm considering you a prime suspect now. And he considered some dementation. Maybe. Or maybe he's just shitting himself. Yes, and I swear to clear my name as soon as possible. Scout's honour. Any more questions? I'm good for now. Sheriff Al-Samai will probably contact you later. I'll get in touch with him myself, ASAP. Once again, thank you for your work. He extends his hand towards me, practically forcing me to shake it. Then he puts his hand on my shoulders to lead me to the door, all too eager to see me off. Out of sheer curiosity, Mr. von der Weyden, I have one more question. It may seem a bit random. I really didn't need to ask him, but I wanted him to die inside for a moment. Of course. And, my dear? His slightly strange tone suggests I may have succeeded. You seem like a person who couldn't live outside of New York City. By chance, have you listened to Howard Stern's talk show after the World Trade Center fell? A tad unsure, but once again carefully controlled chuckle escapes his mouth. Geez, that is random. But, well, New York, born and raised, like you said. Of course I did. Your opinion? Same as everyone else. It was the spiritual guidance we needed that day, coming from the unlikely list of places. A visceral response that verbalized everything we felt. A beautiful moment of unity. Not that I'm into lowbrow jokes about Pamela Anderson and that typical shock value the show tended to offer, but as far as I'm concerned, Howard did an indispensable thing that day. Why are you asking? No particular reason. I thought it might give me some insight into the kind of person you are. Well, that's the kind of person I am. Just your average New Yorker. Interesting. From what Hope says, he's really power-hungry. So it seems. Well then, I'll leave you and Mr. Payne to your plans of conquering the city. Conquering the... Now that's spicy. Addison, I love this girl. She's going far, I'm telling you. She's got that spunk, that glint in her eye. Goodbye, Miss Stownsky. I wish you a pleasant respite and a swift success in your investigation. Power hungry is the average New Yorker. Duly noted. I wouldn't know, being the British individual I am. Let's not get caught up with the cable and the sofa. Yes, Emma, you are taking up more and more of the sofa every passing second. No, that wasn't an invitation to leave. Come back. Thank you. Coming from someone who lives 1 hour there my whole life. Ah, well, I gathered you had some insight into the matter. Excuse me. I make it to a point about Edison's servant, the man himself, not the man himself. I doubt he even noticed. At least these invisible displays of rebellion make me feel a little better about myself. The British and Americans, a cliché, huh? Indeed. Alright, the faster I leave, the better. Julia. Father. How are you holding up? I'm fine, stumbling round and hoping for a miracle to happen like always. No better place to ask for a miracle than behind these gates, you know. So I hear. As I pass him the report about Elsine and Agathon, I look around, but Benoit is nowhere to be seen. Which one, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Yes, well, I think most people play 2. I have seen that. I'll choose that in a moment. Yes, it's interesting when people don't use Malkavians like Joker lunatics. You know, there's actually character behind them. So, where's that clown? You mean Benoit? You're not the one who said it. You're the one who said it, not me. In another parish, taking care of personal issues for me. Thought you might appreciate that. God, I really do. Listen, can't think of anything to playstate you. Listen, can't you think of something to playstate him? Playstate him how exactly? Ben won't accept anything less than me joining a covenant. Excuse me. Sorry, we had very little sleep last night. He's like a worried parent. A basic gesture here and there, showing up in a church from time to time and pretending to listen would get him off your case. I mean, I've been through this song and dance before with my own worried parents when I was a teenager, wandering in the forest until mass was over, not even being able to smoke because they pick up the scent. Not the best moments of my life, you know, and a part of the reason I'm distancing myself from them. I don't need this fake energy in my life, and I'm honestly weirded out by you asking me to lie. It's interesting that when she mentioned about her life as a teenager at church, she was holding the cross on her neck. I'm not asking you to lie, Julia. Let me ask you this way. Are you a spiritual person? I guess I am. Kind of. Always was. Suddenly being able to see ghosts did not change a thing. I think it's mostly because seeing the world as purely material seems boring to me somehow. You are, and you were raised Catholic, so can't you find ways to express that spirituality in our church? I don't see a way right now. And why is that? I sigh. Too many people who think my soul needs to be saved because I live with a woman for starters. Don't know, there's a lot of reasons. Like the sin of drinking blood every night, or feeling some primal fear whenever I walk by a clergyman whose faith seems to be actually genuine. That one sounds like an excuse. It's about your relationship with God, not other people. In theory, but back in the old country, I've heard my share of homilies that felt like complete condemnations of my kind, and none that would condemn hate towards people like me. And you know, when church-adjacent people try to stir shit around your very existence every few months, some minimal support would be appreciated. Sorry, all you can count on is silent complicity. I mean, people... get that? I get it. I know there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of undeserved hurt going around, but... Listen, I don't even want to talk about it. I fucking hate the tone when I talk about it. I sound preachier than those preachers, and my biggest dream is not to give a shit. But I remember things, like this story about a guy from my hometown, the most macho guy around, with a jaw you could sharpen a knife on. He became an actor in Warsaw, very successful, deservedly so. The capital might not be New York City, but it is still a big city, and big cities goes to the heads of bumpkins like us. In his case, it resulted in a dream of coming out to his parents. He was surrounded by all these stories of openly queer people, played one even, so he thought he had a chance of making it work. So he goes back to his town, tells everyone he's going to live his truth. His dad, a ruling party adjacent businessman, curses him. His uncle takes him into the bushes and starts to destroy him physically. Jesus. It's so bad. He gets put in the ICU, his face and jaw get ruined. For good. Fuck. Fast forward a year or two, with his career over, the guy stuck in his parents' rustic house. With no other path to follow, he turns to God, who tells him to forgive his kin. Everything is fine again. Angelic choir, scene of divine mercy. A kind-looking priest talks about protecting our families. A man sits in the front row of the church, a disfigured smile on his face. But that story doesn't alone drive me away. One time, when I saw how blissful he was, I could swear he was actually able to hear God whispering to him. He looked like a saint. It fucked me up so bad I left. I feel nauseated now. Maybe I'm still reeling from hearing about Cara and Jesse Montgomery. Now, if we could never talk about it again, that would be great. I know that I tend to sound like a loser who loves to pontificate about shit I can't manage, but at least keep trying to change myself, damn it. I won't offer empty platitudes, but I think I understand what I was meant to understand. Excuse me, yeah, I'm yawning a lot, barely slept last night, so apologies. I hope I haven't insulted you in any way. Whatever. I've learnt not to hold people responsible for what the rest of their organisation is doing. It would be hard to look in the mirror otherwise. Not that there's much I could see in the mirror right now. I'm just wondering about one thing. There's always a cross on your chest. I like it how it goes with my outfit. Excuse me. It is just a fashionable accessory to you?
Let's see, folks, which option, 1, 2, or 3? I'm curious to see what you pick here. 2. That was the option I would have gone with if I was doing this by myself. It's a memento reminding me of a broken promise. That's all. I won't inquire further. Good. Have a good night, Father. I find her sitting in bed, scrolling through Pinterest on her phone. So how are you doing, detective? I fall on the bed, bury my face in the pillows, and scream. That bad, huh? I don't want to tell about Double Spiral. I still have to figure out how I feel about it. I'm just not cut out for this. Oh, shut up. If you aren't, who is? Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, Columbo, Mads Mikkelsen's boyfriend from Hannibal, whatever his name was. I don't know. Someone who can actually put 2 and 2 together. You can't fool me into believing you're incompetent, you dumbass. I've read your articles. Don't pretend you suddenly forgot how to do your job. I haven't, but I've got no evidence, no witnesses, no promising leads, nothing. I just stumble around assuming things, like talking big. Bleh. So you're like, I don't know, Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, and he actually solved his case. And then he wished he never took it up. Was that supposed to cheer me up? I'm just saying that the situation you're in sounds an awful lot like Chinatown. Depraved elites, big plans for the city, blah blah blah. Yeah, and that's depressing. It is what it is. I just think you should approach it this way, like a solution to your problems outside of the box. Not as a mystery, but maybe like a trap to escape? Maybe. I throw myself on the bed again and lie there for a bit, staring at the ceiling. Then I approach Dakota from behind and tug her sleeve to draw her attention. Psst. Hey. Put the phone away. Now? Come on, Jules, we can't do this every night. I've got my own work and I need to worry about anemia. You said so yourself. Besides, I was just looking for inspiration. I rub against the clothes with my face like a cat. You're impossible. Haven't you noticed what's going on in the news? People going absolutely insane about this virus, cancelling trips and orders and... Jesus, you're including the coronavirus in this, are you? Pretty please. I can't, honey. I have to replenish my stash. Besides, I'm worried about overuse. My brain is working a bit too slow. My balance is off. I was just thinking about how I miss meditation. She's given me clear signals she just wants an excuse. And even though it would be the responsible thing to do, I know that she's insatiable. She's usually the one who takes the initiative. Let's try a final push. I bite her ear and whisper in it. No drugs tonight. Let's do this raw. She throws her hands up in the air. Victory. Jesus, you're greedy these days. Always have been. Haven't you noticed? Oh. Oh. You're up early. Yeah, told you. Got work to do. I stretch. That's admirable. Reminds me of that one quote you always used to throw around. Feeding time. Finally. Good. You should stop worrying about feeding, man. It's not an issue. It's fine. Relax. Besides, we fed every night on her, so it's not an issue. Did I just miss a bit of reading there? I think you did. No, I hadn't. A lot of people say you can't smoke dope and get drunk when you've got kids, and that's not true. You can, but you still got to get up in the morning. That's being responsible. That's the one. I never understood why it was so hilarious to you. Neither did I. Just accepted the mystery and just made it my personal credo. I'm a responsible person. Are you planning to have kids? Not in a million years. By the way, you've got mail. An envelope by the door. It's from Coteires. Inside is a message saying he won't be able to make it tonight, but will rendezvous tomorrow to meet at D'Angelo. He wants me to lay low until then, and to stay in this apartment if possible. Apparently, nobody knows where Tamika is,
They only know she's in trouble and he doesn't want me near it. Ooh. Well, what is it? Which one, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Looks like I need to hit the town. Next lead, probably useless, but the investigation continues. It will be fun to spend more time together, you know. Dakota, you know this is important to me. I know, but I'd like to know I'm important to you as well. That makes 2 of us. Just a few more days, I'll find the killer, kick his ass, get a promotion, and we get to do something we've never done before. Like what? Good question. I'll think of something. For now, I'll catch up with your work. I need to get going. Fine. Good luck. Stay safe. You know it. This place is weird. Oh, this place is weirdly empty tonight. Ah well. I have the usual. I feel there's a big "what are we doing in this relationship" talk if coming along if I don't change my ways. Hi, anyone else have a black screen, but I can hear a lot. I closed YouTube and reopened it. No, I think that's just you, Maureen. I would have known if that was the case. Alright. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened already. Most of the time, Dakota has seemed happy enough just listening to the stories of my own life. Even if it's all boring and normal to me, it's exotic and engrossing to her. Guess I have that going for me. Ah well. I have no idea what to do tonight, so I'll just do the obvious thing and wing it. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through to the very heart of it, or however it went. Time to lose myself in these busy streets and pray the answers I'm looking for are out there. And if they're not, maybe I'll at least find some amusement of blood instead. Okay, we've got 2 interesting faces we could explore. Camera shyness. No, I don't want to be part of your goddamn interview. Look, can I not be bothered by for 1 goddamn second? You're not listening. Or, Prince of Cats. I need to resolve this thing with Dakota, as if going around in circles on behalf of the court wasn't stressful enough. Maybe a visit to some quiet neighbourhood will help me clear my mind. Cats or camera? Prince of Cats it is. And I feel grim you're just choosing that because there's a feeding opportunity. You're just focusing too much on feeding. There it is. That distinct vibe of Manhattan's residential area. Sniff, sniff. And an unmistakable scent of casserole enveloping the surroundings in an heavenly aura. The atmosphere of desolation makes it feel more like purgatory, though. There's not a single soul in sight, and... ah, crap! Looks like I'm not alone after all. Some guy exerts himself climbing a nearby tree. I instinctively take a step into the shadows to remain outside of his line of sight, but I can barely see anything from where I stand. Actually, not this time. Huh, I am surprised. Okay, 1, 2, or 3. Fair enough, I was only teasing. 1. Better to curb my voyeuristic impulses and keep my head down. For a good while, all I can hear is heavily panting. Come on, dude, this oak isn't even that tall. She looks like it's the first time the guy has ever tried to climb in a tree. It takes a long time for the mysterious trespasser to steady his breath and carry on. At this distance I can barely discern his features. He seizes up for the one larger branches. It seems sturdy enough and nearly reaches a narrow window on the 2nd floor. Still, the guy is hesitant. Alright, no biggie, just eyes on the prize. He moves a few steps along the branch, his feet slipping every other step on his way to the window. For some inexplicable fluke, he manages to keep his balance. Once he makes it far enough, the branch slowly bends under his weight.
He kneels down, probably calculating his chances to make it over to the windowsill. My guy, if you pull this off, it'll be a legit miracle. I can't help but cheer him on. The tree trespasser scouts his surroundings one last time, making sure no one can see him. Then he reaches into his pocket, pulls up what looks like a marble, and zeroes in on the window. Okay, here we go. He tosses the marble with the grace of a baseball pitcher. The clink of the glass is subtle, but it proves effective, enough to alert whoever lives inside. A few seconds later, the window opens with the creak of a window frame, followed by the muffled but undeniably happy voice of the girl inside. Prince? How did you... I told you this is too dangerous. My dad? Oh, fuck him. You can't let him make this choice for you. You know how I feel about you, don't you? I do, but... Just let me in, baby. I promise we'll figure something out. Oh, for... Alright, just come in quickly. And just like that, Prince throws away all of his doubt and eagerly jumps inside, straight into the arms of his forbidden lover. It actually makes me smile. My peeping eye scores another victory. What a story. Heartwarming, nostalgic. It's just too bad. It's too cliché to steal my writing. What? Julia, you don't write anymore. Yeah, but it's not like you can simply stop thinking like a writer. Got to use that energy somewhere else. Got to use that energy elsewhere somehow. But for now, let's just start heading downtown. All of a sudden, the world ends. Everything stops. I'm lost in darkness, and there's not even a heartbeat to guide me. It's like sleep paralysis, except it feels like as if I'm suddenly woke up from reality instead of a dream. Instinctively, I react to it the same way I used to react whenever I woke up in the middle of the night, aware but not able to move or speak. I just wait for it to pass. But instead of slowly regaining control, I just see a bizarre room emerge from the darkness. Just look at her. Flesh refusing its fate. It is, 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 it is. It is not the one you were looking for, is it? He was led like a lamb to the slaughter as a sheep is silent before the shearers. He did not open his mouth. There is none righteous, not even one. There is none who understands. There is none who seeks for God. All he turned aside together. They have become useless. If anyone curses his mother or father, he must be put to death. Raging waves of the sea, foaming upon their own shame, wandering stars for whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. For we wrestle not against the flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of the world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and desire to die, and death shall flee them. Yes, it is very interesting. Whenever I become one with the darkness, there's always this nagging fear that it might be impossible to become the normal me again. That instead of the shadows returning to normal, I let my consciousness be dragged somewhere else. Somewhere between the worlds. Somewhere like this, wherever this is. This is the first time that fear has come true. Are you afraid? It's a bad idea to answer. Don't do it. Yes. Well, this has nothing to do with any Malkavian stuff. It's the fact that she possesses oblivion so she can see and interact with ghosts. Ah ha ha ha. Excellent. 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 I think I need to sit down in this chair. I think I need to sit in this chair. I sit in the chair. Still in the lean years and unworthy of joining the rest. However, this path is open, and it is the path of obligation, liability of debt that will be repaid one day. And when she asks you what brought you here, let your response be a scent of death. Suddenly I feel my mind beginning to drift away from here. I am slowly starting to regain control over my thoughts. No, you aren't. Yes, I am. Fine, think whatever you want. I find myself in a dark corner, leaning against a wet, cold brick wall. I think I'm conscious again, back from wherever it was. Awake, but in an unfamiliar place. Well, let's just hope it's still in New York City. I emerge from the shadows to see where I am. A source of light above my head momentarily blinds me, causing me to instinctively raise my hand. As I do, I hit some sort of garbage bag with my hand. It falls to the floor, letting loose a metallic din. What the fuck? A woman. I feel her hand grabbing my clothes. She brutally drags me closer. With one of my hands already above my head, I raise the other. A big oblivion scene, a scene of mystery, though. Yes, it's like she's been pulled into the shroud. Easy, peace, I mean you no harm. How long have you been in here? Who is that? I don't know, I've got no idea what I'm doing here. Or in general, really. It's like sometimes the forces I control figure out how to control me. What are you, a junkie? No. You're Kindred. Yeah. Keep your shit together, damn it. I'm Julie Sawinski, the representative of the La Sombra in New York City. Does every La Sombra have this kind of shadow ghost vision? No. This is a very new thing. In Vampire 5th edition, you know that La Sombra... Well, you might know that La Sombra have the discipline obtenebration, which allows them to control the shadows and darkness through inciting the powers of the abyss. The necromancer clans that you might know as the Carter, the Giovanni, Nagaraja, Harbingers of Skulls, Cappadocians, and the Lamia, they can wield necromancy, which deals with ghosts. Now, in V20 Wraith the Oblivion, 20th Anniversary Edition, some weird otherworldly cyclones smashed the abyss and the shroud, which is where ghosts live, collided into each other. So the La Sombra can deal with necromancy and Hecata can deal with the abyss, sort of. So this is the reason why Julia can see ghosts, because the power of oblivion, which is the amalgamation of obtenebration and the shroud. Camarilla? Uh-huh. I'm a Camarilla investigator. Well, if you came here to catch me, you're going to be sorry you tried, Miss La Sombra. No, stop right here. I wasn't ordered to catch anybody. I'm just investigating Douglas Callihan's death. This surprises her. She loosens her grip slightly. Is this Tamika? Callihan is dead. Nothing left but a rotten carcass and a musty robe. Well, I'll be damned. I've been off the grid for too long. What brought you here? A memory from a distant world pops in my head. Well, I think I know the right answer. That's it. You're very welcome, Lucian. A scent of death. She lets me go. I rub my eyes and finally get a good look at her face. It is Tamika, and God, she looks fucking awful. Tamika being one of the coterie members in Coteries of New York we could, build a coterie with. Tamika is of Clan Gangrel, and I had a huge crush on her because she was my Coteries of New York waifu, and she still is, until further notice. She's gorgeous, and judging by her nomadic clothes and the particularly fierce aura, she's probably an outlander. An outlander being... I hit the wrong button again... Clan Gangrel. Well, we'll have a talk, you and I. Sure. What's your name? Tamika. Pass me a smoke, will you? I didn't think Tamika smoked in Coteries of New York. If only it could, my heart would skip a beat right now. Tamika. I guess, once again, someone out there led me to this proper path. Yeah, sure. When I pass her cigarette, I realise I'm standing in something wet. Something that smells... tasty. I look at my feet and see a puddle of water mixed with blood. Oh, I get it. Ooh,
Were these guys First Light? The high-powered guns and expensive-looking outfits, flashbangs, tasers, all chosen specifically to combat the undead. I recognise that equipment from some horror stories I've heard. First Light, SI, USSOCOM, whatever they call themselves, they all bleed out the same, usually before I have the chance to ask them a single question. Government-funded inquisitors. Some claim they're connected to the US government, some claim they're supported by the anti-Kindred faction in the Holy See, some even have wilder theories. Both of those things are true, actually. You did this all by yourself? Have you seriously seen nothing? Nothing at all? I shake my head. Believe it or not, I have no idea how I got here. I just kinda let the shadows guide me. Is that a La Sombra thing? I never actually talked to any of you. No idea what you guys can actually do. Still learning the ropes myself. Go with the flow and all that. My embrace was just a few months ago. Huh. So you folks are with the Ivory Tower. Last time I checked, you were with the Sabbat. The Camis wouldn't forgive all the trouble you've caused them overnight. What does this game have to say about the oh, for fuck's sake. And what does this game say about the Sabbat, the sect that the La Sombra ruled? An extremist sect that fully enjoys their predatory tendencies and doesn't think highly of mortals. Largely believed embroiled in bringing out the astrological vampire on vampire conflict known as the Gehenna War. They were driven away from the West over the last few decades. I heard that New York City was to be Sabbat controlled until 1999. That's an actual canonical thing. The La Sombra, my clan, used to be the thinkers and behind these wackos, but we've since thrown our lot in with the Camarilla. Huh. That's a short summary. Fairly decent. Again, I'm practically still a neonate. I've just known there's a lot of bad blood between my clan and the others, and that I can expect at least one glare of pure contempt whenever I visit Elysium. Huh. I see. We smoke in silence for a short while. Which one, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Two. Is there a large SI presence in New York City? The Kindred are classified as a terrorist presence. There's no American city that was hit hard by terrorism as this one. All secret agencies need symbolic victories. You do the math. And you're still taking these guys on here, of all places. As you can see all around you, aren't they extremely dangerous? Almost got me for a good last year. Took me a few weeks to get back in action. Then why are you doing this? Those motherfuckers have an unfortunate tendency to hurt people I care about. My brothers, my sisters. I see. I don't know how it is in other cities, but here, funny enough, they only seem to target marginalised and radicalised kindred, ones that could theoretically pose as a threat to the current order. Meanwhile, the establishment in New York City hasn't really changed ever since Celebrio stepped down. Quite the opposite. Every SI raid in the city has only strengthened the old paradigm. Almost makes you think that their goal is something other than protecting the city from blank-body menace. Tamika throws a cigarette into the puddle, unfinished, and crushes it under her heel. She obviously has a difficulty smoking. It's like she's only ever tried it a few times. I assume she saw me carrying a pack and decided to try and calm her nerves after the battle. Or maybe she just wanted an excuse to make a conversation less awkward. Who knows? So you plan to snitch on me, Shadow Girl? And why would I do that? Let me get this straight. You really think I'm dumb enough to believe for 1 second that a Cameron investigator would just have happened to stumble upon the alley where I killed a bunch of SI motherfuckers? If so, you're the one who's dumb, sister. She's a bit more... In Coteries of New York, she was a bit more reserved than this, but she's a bit more feisty now, but it kind of makes sense doing what she's doing. I like this character progression. Looks like I need to show her I mean business, just like I showed Natsa yesterday. Look, I couldn't give two shits whether you killed 1 or a dozen or 1,000 SI operatives. Whatever. Do your thing. But I do think you might be involved in a murder that actually concerns me. Callihan's murder. What? What are you talking about? I found this on his body. Well, remained of it. What remained of it? I show her the note. She tries to grab it to read it, but I don't let her. Aside from your name, we've got Hope, Agathon, and D'Angelo. You know them? Personally. Any idea why Callihan would need a list of all your names? I might know why. Yeah. Do you? Absolutely. Do you know a man by the name of Talk? Huh. Of course I do. Do you know about his connection to Boss Callihan and by proxy to this list and me? No. I'm all ears. Well, too bad, because it's classified intel, sister. What do you mean by classified? Not free. Oh, great. As if I was in the position to, or could afford any sort of quid pro quo. But fine, let's hear it. What do you want? She moans towards the bodies. She motions towards the bodies. I've killed too many of these assholes. They're tightening their screws. As it is, New York is no longer safe for someone like me. Well, not that it ever was. Oh, man. Bracing for something unreasonable. What I need is a way out of the city. You offer that to me, I'll give you the intel you need. Huh. Would you look at that? That's something I can handle, actually. Yeah. She raises her eyebrows. That's surprisingly confident, actually, for a practically still a neonate. I am something of an immigration officer. Psh. Gotta say, you sound awfully close to a cop. Almost as bad. A bureaucrat. I know of a secret pathway that would lead you to the West Coast. 100% safe travel, and if you took it, you'd be untraceable. Sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Wait until you see how much it costs. The only reason why I know this is because of a certain Nossi criminal group reached out to me on an account of my position and offered a mutually beneficial deal regarding illegal Kindred activity. Nossi being short for Nosferatu. Let's see what they say about my clan. The clan of the hidden are the untouchable of our world. Lepers, Surats, Carnies, Scabs, Orlocks. Embraced by a Nosferatu results in this extreme disfigurement, a nasty side effect of their blood. Their grotesqueries can mimic birth defects, cancer growths, or horrible injuries. It can also be a lot more grotesque and goblin-esque, but there's a reason why it's more unpleasant. You just got to read up some V5. Oh, John and the Nosferatu are at it again. They always are. But the Nosferatu are by default the most compassionate of all the kindred, probably due to the humiliations they suffer on a daily basis. To blend in, some call on the blood to wear the borrowed faces of their victims or to vanish altogether. Others get very, very good at stagecraft, costumes, prosthetics and makeups. That's a V5 inclusion. I've never seen that anywhere else before, and I'm kind of intrigued to see what people would do with that. Normally I'd refuse, but they'd offer me the only thing they can buy me. Normally I'd refuse, but they offered me the only thing that can buy me, a lot of cash. That's funny. Fine then. Money's not an issue. Now that's something I never had the chance to ever say in earnest. Okay then. Compassionate, sure. Which one first, folks? 1, 2, or 3? One. Alright then, it's a deal, but who scratches who backs first? She ponders my question for a good while, studying me, before she decides on a response. Have you met Talk before? In the course of your investigation, or before? I wanted to, but on the Anarch side I only managed to meet Mia, and she wasn't keen on the idea of the two of us meeting. Ah yes, Mia. Her expression betrays she's got some vicious stories to tell, but it would be beneath her to divulge them. Too bad. Maybe it could have been a bonding experience. So here's the thing. A few months ago, Talk and I were together. A lot of things happened, and a long story short, I no longer felt close to him. Huh. That's interesting. Huh. I feel betrayed, Tamaka. Huh. But from what I know, he still feels close to me. Back when I thought there might have been something between us, I gave him a ring that has a lot of sentimental value to me. And since these days, sentimentality is all that keeps me going, I want it back. So my suggestion is this. Tell Talk's people I sent you to get inside his base of operations, meet with him, ask him your questions and convince him to give my ring back. you got to interrogate him, then I get to have my ring back. Then you hear my side of the story, then I got to leave the city with your help. Everybody wins, more than once. They will really let me in just because I tell them you sent me. They will. Trust me. That sounds too easy. What caused the two of you to drift apart? Irreconcilable differences in worldview. Well, I assume so, but that's a diplomatic answer. If I'm ever going to involve myself in the relationship drama of two ex-lovers, I need something more to go on. Will you? Yeah. She picks her words carefully. I realised I had become an element of his carefully crafted projected image. Having me as a radical partner allowed him to present himself as a meditator while paying lip service to revolutionary ideas. A meditator. That's 21st century for you. Everyone wants to be the middleman these days, and nobody wants to do what's right. Be serious. Whenever I hear about talk from the Ancile, they talk about him like he's the second coming of Mao. If he ever seems that, it's only because from time to time people like me pushed him into an uneasy theme. Ever heard of the southern wolf and the northern fox? Both of them want to eat for dinner, but only the southern wolf makes it immediately obvious. The tricky northern fox makes his eyes allow you to pet him before taking a bite. Talk loves to surround himself with northern foxes. They talk of compromises. They seem reasonable compared to the opposition, but at the end of the day, they have their eyes on the same prize. Power. Hearing this gives me a foreboding feeling, but I can't quite nail down why. Alright, tell me where to go, and I'll tell you where we'll meet later. I'm just chilling at talk, when suddenly a shrill, loud voice pierces my eardrums. What the hell are you doing here? Oh yay, it's Pissy Lady from Talks in a Circles. 1, 2, or 3? One. I'm here to see Talk. I figured as much. You should have gone through his security first. Get out. And what if he tells me to stay? Fat chance. Move your ass before I throw you out. I thought you'd be more open to cooperation after our last talk. Not when you're trying to make deals behind my back, bitch. Oh, Talk looks very different. He looked a bit more like a gangster in Coteries of New York, but now he just sounds like a pimp? Mia, it's okay. There he is, walking through the door, one of the most infamous New York City barons, or as some people started calling him the moment Callihan met his end, the Baron of New York City. We've talked about this. The situation is a little different now. Tamika sent her. What? Bullshit, I wasn't able to track her down for weeks. Well, I did. And guess what? It took me one night, you clown. Oh, the sass on Julia. I've had enough of bitchy henchwomen for the week, so I can't help but put her down. She shoots me a hateful look, but Talk gestures her to stay quiet. This is a reason to celebrate, not to get mad. Now, if you allowed the two of us to have a private conversation... No way. I want to keep an eye on her. You will keep an eye on her on the exit, and that will be enough. Please. He puts on his best authoritative tone, and it works. No protests this time. Mia leaves the room. When talking to Mia, you mentioned cooperation. First I've heard about it. I tried to make friends at first so that the investigation would go more smoothly. Looks like it wasn't appreciated. I'm sorry about her. She can be overzealous, but usually that's not a bad thing. Yeah, sure. So she told you that I've been trying to reach you for a few nights. I don't think so. Have you? Well, I'm the dumbass the court ordered to investigate Callihan's final death, so considering your connection to the case, I thought it would be imprudent for us to talk. Ah, so that's you. Yeah. Now, I know you're probably anxious to hear about Tamika. I'm surprised to hear you two know each other. We actually met through this investigation. Anyway, as I was saying, I know you probably can't wait to hear about her, but I'd like to ask you a few questions first. I understand. Do your job. Did you know Douglas Callihan? Of course I did. We were both barons, kept having professional obligations to meet each other. But that was it. That's a lie. What was your private opinion of him? Same as everyone else. A racist clown mentally stuck in the 18th century, who spent too much time keeping the anarchs down. I'm glad he's gone. You mean you're glad he met final death? Well, you know what they say. Hate to see you go, love to watch you leave. Weren't you the first kindred who saw his corpse? I was, but it was his ghouls who found him. By the way, we've established that some of them tempered down the crime scene. They were properly disciplined for that. Convenient story. Let's move on. What's your alibi for that night? None. I was running around the entire night taking care of various issues. I'm related to Callihan, but I don't intend to divulge them to someone from the Ivory Tower. So you have no interest to proving yourself innocent. My official position was made clear. It's the Camarilla are to blame. It's your job to prove me wrong. Call and muck. At least for once can I face a problem that can be solved with pure logic, not politics. Any findings on your side I should know of? Ask Mia, she's the one who handled the murder scene. I'm not privy to all the details. Hope, D'Angelo, Agathon. Any idea who these people are? Can't recall. Sorry. The evidence I found suggests a potential link between Callihan and Tamaka. Any clue? I knew both of them well, but as far as I knew, they've never met. That's it. Oh well. Not sure what I expected. He's the kind of guy that could only be pushed to talk if I had something concrete to push him with. Time to move on. Well, regarding Tamaka. Finally. I'll cut straight to the chase. She wanted me to inform you that she'll be skipping town for a while. The SI is hot on her trail and she needs to lose them ASAP. Oh, I've told her countless times. If she's in danger, I'll always be there for her. Does she think she can find a secure way out of the city in this situation? She's safe. So you say. She's got some other friends in high places. She'll manage to get out. Gotta admit, that's not what I expected to hear, or what I wanted to hear. Why did she decide to contact me? She wants her ring back. His aura changes in a blink of an eye. Ah, I see now. So that's why she didn't show up herself. Wouldn't even faze me when delivering the final insult. Uh-oh. Looks like I've stepped on a landmine. She said the ring was a symbol of the trust she put in me. No way in hell I'm going to give it away. Not until she gives me the chance to explain myself. I need that ring to get Tamaka to talk, but with the way he's acting, it doesn't seem like he's willing to part with it. It might require to act shitty, but maybe time to change my approach? Okay, folks. 1, 2, or 3. Sorry, 1 or 2, there's only 2 options, beg your pardon. 1 or 2, I'm just used to saying 1, 2, or 3. 2, lie, haha. Alright. Listen, none of this is my business, but I think I've got something. Listen, this is none of my business, but I think you've got something wrong here. What's that trait? You can't be a writer and not lie. That's interesting. How exactly? She still loves you. Poof. He's only doe-eyed for a short moment, but it's obvious I hit him where it hurts. You said you just met her. How would you know? We fought an SI patrol together. That won me her trust. And then we had an unexpectedly honest talk, woman to woman. Glad Mia is away. If she was still in the room, I'd be far too embarrassed to let this shit escape my mouth. But talk just nods, prompting me to go on. She's connected. She understands the painful realities of this world, but wants to hold on to her ideals. That's why it's hard for her to stay close to you. Even though deep down she resentfully respects your slow and steady work, she still wants to give her own approach a chance. Oh my god, what am I doing? Then why would she want the ring? To me it's an obvious message. I was wrong to put my hopes in you. It's punishment. She wants it to remember you by, and to have the symbol of those hopes near her, to remind her there's always another way. Look, I know this is hard for you, but you've got to give her that time and benefit of the doubt. It will pay dividends in the long run. Suddenly make her realise her misconceptions might have been wrong. Ah, a realisation slowly dawns on him. Oh my god, he's actually buying it. I'm dying inside. He takes the ring outside of his inside pocket and passes it to me. Go. Tell her I'll be waiting, and that my feelings haven't changed. Of course. Should Mia lead you out? No need, no need. I'll manage. As I leave, I feel very self-conscious about the pace of my walk. I feel like I just got away with murder. If he relays what I said to Mia, she'll probably see through my bullshit in an instant, but, ah well, won't be my problem at that point. Time to meet Tamika. I find her waiting in front of the Jewish Museum. How'd it go? Is she wearing like a jumper or like her arms covered in fur? She raises an eyebrow as I put the golden ring into her palm. I'm quite surprised, to be honest. I don't think he'd succeed. Turns out I'm the talented diplomat. For my experience, that usually means a liar. She looks at the ring with a gentle gaze and stores it safely in her pocket. Or has he really changed? Who knows? I just met him for the first time in my life. Unlife. Anyway, I've kept my end of the bargain. Of course, it's time for me to keep mine. Last year, a certain fledgling appeared in the city and attempted to build a coterie. That list you found on the Callihan, that's the list they've got. Perhaps. That's what I was thinking, like the beast marks of being a gangrel. They contacted each of us, then found themselves in deep shit. SI, Kaiser, Sophie Langley, somehow shadow players manipulating everything behind the scenes. Then they disappeared. Kaiser. That name popping up once again. It can't be a coincidence. No one knows where or why. Doesn't really matter. That happens when you punch way above your weight. Hope they're doing fine despite all odds. In any case, Talk got involved. That's how I met him, actually. He got hurt. Didn't want to say how. Claimed could put anyone he knew in danger. Whatever happened, it gave him the drive and desire for change. For 2 months he was a beautiful Kindred, plain and simple. But suddenly something in him snapped overnight. His tone mellowed out. His actions became timid. His language became more befitting of a political science student than a charismatic leader. I assumed he met someone who made him an offer he couldn't refuse, but I had no idea who that was. And then, one night, I followed him in when he went out, and I saw him scheming at the docks of Callihan. When he came back, we had an argument. When he refused to explain himself, I knew I was on my way out. And that was that. I understand. I wish I knew that earlier. Might have confronted the facts of him and learned something more. He never told me. Of all Kindred, what makes you think he would have told you? She's got a point, I suppose. Alright, thank you. Now it's my turn. Here's your way out. I point at the manhole beneath our feet. A very typical Nosferatu escape route. Here's a map of the sewers. Follow the route, then burn it. You'll be looking for a one-eyed Nosferatu wearing tactical gear. Tell him I sent you, then give him the agreed upon amount of money. What kind of route will I be taking anyway? An armoured van full of precious coffins. Curious coffins. My man knows how to arrange them to allow for unnoticed extra cargo. Her face darkens. The circulatory system? What did you expect? The rich and powerful always get the blood they want, one way or another. At least tonight, one of their routes will be used for something good. She drops her shoulders and resignation opens up the manhole cover. Fine. But remember, if it doesn't work, I'll be back at your doorstep with a vengeance if it's the last thing I do. I'm sure it'll work out fine. Just beware of a giant albino ghoul alligator while you're down there. Oh, that's cool, because in the New York City by Night book, there is an actual ghoul alligator down there. That's an actual canonical thing. Tamika rolls her eyes. Cerebral alligator, right? For your information, it's just a story New York Kindred tell to neonates to mess with them while they're still gullible enough to believe anything they hear about the new world. Oh, that makes sense, I suppose. Well, this is a goodbye. In a few months, you hear the First Light presence in Los Angeles has been decimated. Assume that against all the odds, I'm still unalive and kicking. If you keep killing indiscriminately, you might cross a line of no return, you know. Shouldn't you take it easy for a while? Not until my brothers and sisters in blood stop being slaughtered. I care about what's left of my humanity, but turning a blind eye on kindred in need would be even worse, less than human. I don't think there is anything in the V5 book. However, you're always, if you ever play a game with people, you could always come up with something. So that's the kind of person she is, and probably will be until the very end. It must be comforting in a way, to know how your path will end, yet to follow it all the same. I could never do that. Here's some parting advice for you. We might be monsters, but we're lucky enough to be born into a world that's even more monstrous than we are. If we rebel against it, we might still find salvation. If only if I could believe it. Didn't expect the preaching tone. Why are you telling me this? Because I think I have a pretty good nose for people's auras, and when I take a good look at you, I smell a penchant for ruthless opportunism. I smell controlling anger that might get out of hand if you get a whiff of power. I smell someone who doesn't value the truth much. It's not much, just a hunch, but you seem prone to giving in to the Cameroon's empty promises of safety and their petite bourgeois values. I think I should take offence to that. I hope you do. That would reflect on you as well. In any case, whatever happens, see you in the next life, Julia. Safe travels, Tamika. I skipped tonight's visit to the church. Yes, there were several alligators in Redemption. I'm not in the mood to see Benoit. I'm still embarrassed about yesterday's outburst. And I'm kind of pissed none of the clan elders in Chicago bothered to reply to any of my fucking reports. No advice, no feedback, nothing. I feel like I was left utterly alone. Besides, it's late. I always get back to the apartment early in the morning, right before it gets bright, but it's getting risky to be out here so close to sunrise. Accidents can happen. I always try to get back early tomorrow night, attempt a surprise Dakota. Yeah. I'm back. Yay. How was work? All caught up? I managed to get my deadlines postponed. All our clients are cancelling and delaying orders left and right. Huh. Does that mean you'll have time to help me with my makeup tomorrow? We'll see. Perfect. Alright, I need to disappear before the sun catches up with me. Hey. Yeah? I love you. Oh. An uneasy silence fills the rooms. I'm not getting out of this one, am I? Well, I've already come up with one love story tonight. What's another? I love you too. I quickly turn away to avoid looking at her sincere smile and leave to rest. I finally reached... Oh, that's a nice scenery backdrop. Look at that cargo. She took a while to say it back. Yep. I finally reached Beat Burger, hoping to recuperate from all the mental damage accumulated over the past few days. Only to find out the doors are locked and nobody's inside. No, 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 I need to be soothed. I need my routine. You've absolutely got to be kidding me. Closed? What the fuck do you mean closed? I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Everything's closed. Pandemic? What pandemic? Do you live under a fucking rock? It's a new SARS virus straight from China. The whole world is going crazy over it. People are dying left, right, and centre. Ooh, this might be a personal tragedy for a love for Dakota totally dissolving rather than it could be. It might well be that. And it's very interesting that the writers are using the COVID virus in this. Holy shit. I didn't know something like this could still happen in this day and age. Somehow it felt like we were beyond it. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Well, I guess it's lucky I'm dead. I walk away to avoid bringing more attention to myself. Now I understand why New York City feels downright apocalyptic tonight. It's a psychedelic experience to see these familiar streets empty and abandoned. Yep, I think they have done. They might not call it COVID, but that's definitely what they're fucking hinting. Well, let's see what parts of the city are still alive in the middle of a plague. Okay. 2 characters. An aristocratic taste,
All this malaise spreading through the burrows is putting me in a weird mood. Seems like I can't outrun it, so maybe I'll intensify it instead. Smallpox hospital, here I come. Or, a familiar smile. It just took 2 days for the city to all go to the last man on Earth. I probably won't have a better chance to soak in the atmosphere. Which one? 1 or 2? 1, 2. Number 2 it is. If someone asked me right at this moment how to define the meaning of the word eerie, I look them straight in the eye and say, just took a look around, idiot. One moment. Lucy! Lucy! Shh! Yeah, fuck. No, poor cat. But with the exception of a few stray dogs, there's no one around to ask. This isn't the New York City I've come to know. I can't help but perceive it as artificial. The cat is plotting your demise, I see. No, if she was, I'd be dead. Real, but with an uncanny apocalyptic quality, like a city-wild roleplay of some trashy post-apo flick. Like I was Will Smith in I Am Legend. Hell, this is probably my first time anybody has thought of I Am Legend in the last 10 years. The film version, anyway. I keep walking the empty streets until suddenly... Hey, Julia! Julia! The streets revel themselves less empty than I previously thought. Charlie? Yeesh, been a long time. Julia, why are you so stupid? Wow, that's not the line I'd choose to open a touching reunion with. The last time we met, he was working at Karma Circle, one of those vegan places that pride themselves on hiring workers with disabilities. Went there for the first time 2 years ago or so, with Dakota. Charlie here was our waiter. He had us arguing about something stupid and rushed to Dakota's defence, and in Charlie's mind the best defence is the merciless one. He roasted my formal clothes, silly mannerisms, general behaviour and specific arguments so ruthlessly. Dakota had a 10-minute laughing fit, and the manager overheard him and apologised. But I didn't mind. I always liked underdogs who could stand their ground. We even became online friends that we could roast each other on Messenger, and he can do the same, and he can do that using emojis alone. People getting sick. You're irresponsible. I need to take you home. I was just headed there, Charlie. No need to worry about me. But I was worried. You never answer my messages these days. Yeah, that's not exactly an option right now, is it? Especially during the day. If you have to contact me, you need to go through Dakota. I've decided not to use smartphones anymore. You know, to keep my head clearer and all. Hey, I think you just got tired of breaking them. You're always so clumsy. Your screen is always cracked. You was always thinking a lot while your friends were doing something stupid. Heh. As I said, ruthless. And is Dakota good? You two still gal pals? 1, 2 or 3? Because I feel this one's going to determine how she feels about Dakota. Two. I don't know if we are. We still hang out at least. That's good. You aren't practical. You're a mess girl. You need someone close to take care of you. Psh, come on, said the guy who still lives with his mum. Yep, we're the same. That's how I know. He says that in such an innocent smile and so much conviction. I feel thoroughly owned. No use fighting back. Switching to sincerity mode. It's just that... Don't tell her this, but I'm not sure if we're making each other happy, and that worries me like a lot, you know. Huh? That's because you're being stupid. Hey, I'm being honest now. Don't be mean. I didn't say you're stupid, but that you're being stupid. There's a difference. Guess that's something your mum says all the time, huh? When you're ahead for too long, you always trip over a glass of water and break your phone. That's when they call you stupid.
When you argue, when you joke, that's good. That's progress. 1, 2, or 3. One. I guess. See? You're not stupid. You get it. Oh yeah. Are you still a journalist? Me? No. They fired me. Good. Good? Seriously? Yeah. Mum reads load stuff sometimes. She says it's trash. I'm happy you're not trash. Oh, that's really sweet in a kind of backhanded way. Thank you, that means a lot. And, how is Karma Circle? You still working there? No, they fired me. Oh. Which one? 1, 2, or 3? Two. Because of the virus? Don't know. There's a new boss. A stupid guy. Doesn't like me. I hope you didn't call him stupid to his face. He throws me an impish side glance and moves his eyebrows up and down with a comedic timing. But I did. I snort uncontrollably. Shit, Charlie. You're unbelievable. And how is your mum? She's sick and doesn't want me to come by her room. She sent me out to the pharmacy to get her medicine, you know? Fuck. I hope it's not serious. It's stupid. We have to take care of each other, but we can't see each other, you know? Now I feel like trash for wanting to complain about my own troubles. You doing good? Yes, I'm strong. He poses like a macho man. I laugh. You stay strong, Julie, and write something from time to time. No promises. Hey, if you're forced to be an asshole to Dakota, we stop being gal pals, will you forgive me? Let me think. An exaggerated thinker pose. I swear, this dude... No. Then he turns away and disappears into the night. I swear I don't know how to handle this guy. He always has to be have the final word, even against a vampire. That's probably why I still respect him so much. Oh well, time to follow suit and make myself scarce. I just want to take a pause here and just say that I have a brother with disabilities. And huge fucking props to the writers there for not playing it up. The sweet insincerity of it. I saw bits of my brother with that. And I swear to God, after this I'm going to cry. That's amazing. That's fantastic. The time comes for me to meet up with Coteires, and hopefully D'Angelo too. The last position on my list. This better be good. And that is D'Angelo's agency. Looks like a dump. That. Perfect for the clan of the hidden. I thought he wasn't hidden. I thought he was missing, and to be honest, I kind of expected the worst. Why would he look for him in the most obvious place? I've been asking around and I've got a hunch. Just trust it and start looking. Fine. Who is D'Angelo anyway? He's a good man. A useful man. But it took me time to get used to him. He takes sleuthery very, very seriously. Like her whole encounter with him in Coteries of New York, he was pretending that he was like a noir detective the whole time. His thing is exactly like idiosyncratic noir detective, you know, just as I said. I heard it helps him cope with something, but I never felt comfortable tackling the subject. Doesn't sound too quirky by the city standards. Wait, what is that? There's a rat on the floor, frozen in an unnatural position. Weird shit. Kick it. Which option? I mean, as knowing what the Nosferatus are like, he's probably using a discipline to control it, but which one do we want to do, family? 2. I was going to kick it. Despite my disgust, I picked the rodent up. No, that's what's being an investigator is all about. Leave no stone unturned. Shut up. This is gross. What have you found out? Yeah, I wanted to kick it too, turd. And take a close, hard look at the rat. It's alive, but from what I see, it's just stretching around like grinding its teeth without a care in the world. That's called bruxing. What? When a rat chatters its teeth, that's bruxing. He's not actually panicked or aggressive, so I guess he's just happy. I look at its face. I don't know, his eyes keep coming out of his socket and going back in. It looks disgusting, like he's in a lot of pain. So he's boggling. He must be really content. Does he know... How does he know so much about... Never mind. I'm getting an eerie feeling. This is weird, man. I have a feeling there's a kindred hiding nearby. Weird. My thoughts exactly. Coteires slowly approaches a secluded corner of the room. And there it is. He kicks a pile of clothes lying on the floor. I'm just a corpse. Leave me alone. Lucky for you, we're all corpses here, D'Angelo. You're among friends. Clumsily, drunkenly, the pile of clothes transforms into an unkempt man who looks like he's suffering from some sort of skin disease. God, D'Angelo's a mess. Well, even more so. With Coteries of New York, D'Angelo's thing with D'Angelo, we had to perform a detective to find out why there was this thin blood just killing people. It turns out she was just a bit batshit crazy because she was a Malkavian thin blood, and she just kept seeing visions of Gehenna. And we had the option of... We were given 3 options of trying to deal with the thin blood, and all of which resulted in the thin blood being killed. And D'Angelo felt really bad about that, and this is probably a result of that. How does Kadir know so much about the rats? Will help me get a story someday. Maybe. Or maybe that's just a little quirk that we're just left to think about. You know, a true friend would just bury me. Unlucky for you, we're not that kind of friends. Lucky, unlucky, schmucky my ass, how did you guess I was here? So you've been asking around for the past few days. What I've learned is that, for reasons I can best describe as nebulous, you made quite a few enemies since that last year. Yeah, tell me something I don't know. And one thing that caught my interest is how everyone has it on good authority that your place was raided, a few times without you being found, yet nobody has assumed responsibility for these acts. Hell, doesn't this den look like it's always been raided? Can't blame anyone for just making an educated assumption. I had a hunch these might be more than rumours. See, sure looks like a convenient coincidence that everyone hears something that makes them look the other way, and coincidences are for fools. Well, you've got my number, and you can see my ugly mug right in front of you, so it's no use playing dumb, I suppose. Agreed. You spent all these weeks holed up in here. Is the hunger not getting to you? You've got a lot of critters around this area, and we've got some chums. Some of these rats actually got addicted to the kiss. They come to me every night acting like cokehounds begging for it. The kiss being the fancy word for vampires biting and drinking on the blood. For most people, most kindred, when they bite on somebody, it's a sensation that feels close to orgasmic. But when you've got, like, the Hecata and the Giovanni, biting on people actually cause a great amount of pain. Getting them drunk and just getting someone to rush out feeding on them feels a little feels a bit like slaughtering a horribly burned piece of pizza and ketchup. But in this situation, I'll take what I can get. You dig? It's so gross. I failed to keep my poker face. He notices. So who's the dame? Julius Owinski, a detective investigating Baron Callihan's death. He raises her head for a short while to stare in Kadir's eyes and treat him with a vulgar snigger. Phooey. So somebody has finally put the old man on ice. Whoever did it did the world a huge favour. Absolutely, but I got orders to establish who he was, and I've been stumbling in the dark for the past few days. We need your help. I'll be damned. Your sleuth skills must really not be up to par if you're begging for a bum for help. Which one, folks? We're going to choose an option, and then I'm going to fill up some water and go to the loo.
1, 2, or 3? If you don't choose, I will choose. Two. Thank you very much, Mega Hawk 9999. Right, I'm gonna go to the loo. I'll be back. Hello there. I have returned. Yes, as I may have mentioned before, I have many allergies, meaning that bread is off the question for me, so one has to make their own. And the bread machine was just going off, so that's why I was a bit longer than I intended to. Right. It's an unusual case. How so? It's extremely political. Phooey. I asked, how is it unusual? It feels like the game was rigged against me from the start, like I'm just bumbling around and achieving nothing while everyone laughs behind my back. Geez, you sound hopeless, kiddo. Haven't you ever read a Chandler book? That's how it always is. Just do your best, enjoy the embarrassment, and hope that you stumble on the answer by accident. He accidentally lets a metal flask in his hand slip out onto the floor, and struggles to pick it up. Coteire can't bear to watch. God, what happened to you, Johnny? I've never seen you this low before. Stress-related disorders causing a disruption in my routine is what I think a shrink would say. Happens when a lot of shady folks are out to put a stake through your chest. Help us out. Tell us what you know and we might be able to help you in return. Yeah, I respect what it's due, miss, but I think it's gonna be the other way round. I ain't telling you to shit, pardon my French, until I know I can count on some protection. Johnny. Don't you Johnny me, Coteire al-Samir.
I know your level, but I also know that your honor is one of the few things you care about. You want me to endanger myself, you put it on the line for me. And that's that. You either promise to extend your protection to me, or the moment you step away from here, I'll sneak away into the sewers, and that's the last time you ever see me. Coteires shoots me a weary sideways glance. I know, he drives a hard bargain. Especially for someone whose sense of self-worth does not exactly appear to be sky high at the moment. Maybe. But I do value my own life quite a lot, thank you very much, friends. Coteires sighs. Alright, but 3 months from now, or the moment Prince Panhard tells me it's no longer possible for the court to offer you safety without compromising its principles, you're on your own. No negotiations, that's the only deal I can strike with you. Take it or leave it. D'Angelo scratches his head, grunts loudly, tugs his mask, and stands up. Oh, he's got one of those e-cigarettes. Oh, he's really gone downhill. That's Jake with me, big fella. I might have strong opinions about Panhard, but hell, I'm sitting here on dynamite. I'll tell you what I get. Who else in New York would you rather rely on? Want me to call the mayor? My opinions about the prince ain't that bad. So, what do you good folks want from me? Who wants you dead? Ah, starting the interrogation with a tricky one. Wouldn't I like to know? Step up, Johnny. You seem to be forgetting how quid pro quo works. But writers really like that expression, don't they? Wouldn't I like to know won't cut it. What can I tell you? The warlock, Agathon, or whatever his name is, presumed dead. Tamika, MIA, with SI on her back, so possibly KIA by now. Hope the kook, hidden in her office under Van der Weiden's skirt. I guess the pandemic would help the Nosferatu bend in better with the mask helping to cover up. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, actually. That's a very good point. Around the time they started having trouble, some rough-looking streetwise kindred started hanging out at my usual spots. Didn't take me too long to connect the dots. Wait, what is the connection between you and those three? Ever since last year, folks started hiring us for various gigs, some even trying to get us to join their coteries. All these opportunities were rather short-lived. However, the delicate tightrope act of working for various employers made us fully aware there's an inter-sector alliance in NYC. Kindred from both sides often work for the same goals without knowing it. The moment we started figuring it all out, a clean-up crew went downtown. I know the serious warlock boy sniffed something out on his own backyard, but then poof, he disappeared. Then I lost all contact with Hope and Tamika went AWOL. Hope they're doing fine, and they didn't snitch on me to anybody. They are. They didn't even tell me you guys knew each other, so I think you're safe. Huh. Wait a second. Why were you milking them for intel, kiddo? I found a list of 4 names on Callihan's remains. You can probably guess what they were. I get the picture. Yeah. Christ almighty. I've heard it was just a list of freelancers, potential associates, probably prepared by Carter Vinderwanden. My money is on him being involved, but I smell bullshit. Have you got any idea who might have done the bossing? Any more clues? None at all. That's where we want you to come in, friend. Investigate the murder scene, the only way you know how. Tell us what you think. Guide Julia in the proper direction. D'Angelo sizes me up, scratching his head. Sure, whatever. I'll do my best, kiddo. Lead the way. I'll drive you there, or at least as close as possible. I wouldn't be welcome that deep in Anarch territory. Just clean yourself up a bit, Johnny. I just had my upholstery cleaned earlier this week. Like a true Toreador. After dropping us at the same place Catherine first introduced me to Mia, Coteires quickly drives away. Here we are. Swell, a classic closed room mystery. Let me take a look. He starts walking around the office, carefully taking in every element. So you're saying you're basically a nobody, but you can simply call Catherine Vyse and have her opinion Sesame an Anarch. Sesame an Anarch crib for you. Dunno, sure sounds like somebody to me.
Don't misunderstand, I only met her during the course of this investigation. Everyone's basically treating me like dirt wherever I go, and I'm only acknowledged enough to legitimise this sham Lord Castlereagh. Now that was an abrupt interruption. I was busy sharing, damn it. Excuse me? He's pointing at the painting of the man overseeing this entire office. I met murder on the way. He had a mask like Castlereagh. Very smooth he looked, yet grim. 7 bloodhounds followed him. He seems to have completely switched his modus operandi upon seeing the murder scene. He's in his own little world, and his behaviours become more machine-like and erratic. If only every kindred in the camera sounded like Coteires. Could be like Coteires. Sigh, I know. Be a very thirsty place. I still don't follow. I never knew this old Irish coot was into Napoleonic era, but then again, I have no idea about his exact age, of course, so maybe that's when he lived, or born. Anywho, pay minimal attention to me, alright? Who am I looking at here? Right, that's one Lord Castlereagh, born as Robert Stewart, a British Secretary of State of Foreign Affairs at the beginning of the 18th century. Incredibly influential, incredibly hated. Ask one fella about Castlereagh and he'll tell you he was the man who destroyed Napoleon for good, the man who shaped British politics for ages, the man who built foundations for Europe unity at Vienna. Ask another fella and he'll tell you he was the man who destroyed the Irish Parliament, the man who cracked down on any possibility of reform and then supported the cavalry massacring peaceful protesters. There we go, got there eventually. He's spouting these facts like a computer. Is that the hint of a detective's photographic memory? I have to say, it's downright perverted for an Irishman to put up Castlereagh's portrait in his office, to find proof that our victim was sick in the head, as if we needed more evidence there. Probably idolised him too, maybe identified with him even. Yeah, that's possible. Callihan and his ilk adored those jag-offs who strive to reach across the aisle and achieved hard compromises. I'm just going to have a drink. Too bad nobody else remembers them well. I feel like I should say something. I've got this nagging feeling in the back of my mind. Which one? So I'll just read in the third one. 1, 2, or 3. One. Yeah, I guess that makes sense for him to have a role model like that, doesn't it? Oppressing his own people, claiming it was all in their name, when at the end of the day or the night they were back in the shit and he was still on the top. Yeah, sure, sounds familiar. 200 years later, all those societal changes and it still works the same for us Kindred. That's a cheery thought. Not just the Kindred. That's how this world works, period, kiddo. Napoleon or Bourbon restoration, communism or capitalism, Panhard or Callihan. Once the bourgeois established themselves, you've got to completely reset the rules of the game. And a few years later, do it again. Again and again, until you're dead. Or deader than dead. If that doesn't sound fine to you, you can always just join the folks like the old boss here. Or accept this invisible noose that's going tighter and tighter around your neck every single night. He stops above Callihan's corpse and laughs. Posterity will never survey a nobler grave than this. Here lies the bones of Castlereagh. Stop, traveller, and piss. He kicks his bones with glee, causing me to jump a little. Is he still under the influence? Isn't that tampering with the crime scene? Kiddo, as far as I can see, this crime scene has been fucked with 3 times over. Can't really be more ruined than it already has. I agree, but it looked like about the same time. But it looked about the same the last time I was here. Then it was already a total mess before you ever got here. Whatever. Standing by the metal shutters on the window, he abruptly changed the topic. Lightproof. Have you ever toyed with these? No. In general, I avoid machinery like that. It doesn't like me, and I don't like it. They don't like you. They don't work properly. It's like I give technology an allergy. Sometimes industrial cameras mess up my face. Sometimes I can't use a phone. You think it could be useful, but it's just a curse. I see.
You think those blinds could ever be in the murder weapon? 1, 2, or 3? I saw 3. How so? Let me explain. Let's say for some reason our stiff was wandering there as the sun was rising. Maybe staying at poor Coteires looking for a soulmate to accompany him to the other side. Yet another guy pushed to suicide by politics. Pretty old school, romantic, yada yada. Or maybe it was torpor. Or maybe it was a freak accident. Or maybe it was premeditated. Oh, he's lowered his mask now. In any case, sunlight would be a perfect murder weapon, no? He takes off the mask to shoot a disfigured smile my way. Well, that's just a theory anyway. A game theory? Sorry. Well, it sounds... sound. Does it? Because I was just spitballing. It's practically impossible to make certain now, kiddo. The most logical cause of final death would be damage to the heart, and they can easily be done without damage to the skeleton. And he sets off, with a wink. What is he playing at here? The safe. Anyone made a crack at it yet? As far as I know, only Callihan knew the code, and the safe itself is pretty hard to crack. Watch me, kiddo. He presses an ear to the safe and slowly begins to rotate the dial. Stop clowning around. You're a safe cracker now. When you're cursed with countenance such as mine, and you decided on a job such as mine, you gotta be a jack of all trades. Game theory jokes. I love this channel. Thank you so much. Yeah, but it sounds pretty hard. Last year there was a random fella visiting a heritage museum in Alberta. He found a safe that hasn't been opened in 40 years. Not a single specialist, not even a blacksmith could have handled it. The man just studied the numbering, listened closely to the mechanism, attempted the most sensible combinations of viola. The unthinkable happened. That's when your trust in your instinct leads you. Too bad he found nothing inside but an old pay sheet. A metallic screech. The doors opens. I'll be damned. And it looks like we've got the same case here. Confetti. A few random papers scattered around. But for what it's worth, the lock has obviously traces of mechanical manipulation. Probably recent too. Reeks of foul play. But what do we know for sure, really? I'm done here. You can take over. Another wink, another walk in a random direction. I look inside the safe. Quite spacious. I haphazardly grab everything that's left inside the safe and hid it in my person, then close the door so that nobody knows, well, he managed to crack it. When I turn around, he's motioning me to come closer to the sheet of paper lying on the desk. So yeah, kiddo, you probably know the entire beeswax of Schrodinger's cat, so I'm not going to bore you with that, but honestly, anything could have happened here. I read the text he's writing on the empty page. This place is wired. It gives me chills. I think I'm okay. I've tried to record my own voice a bunch of times on different hardware just to see if I can. It mostly comes out as noise. He nods, then starts scribbling something else as he continues blabbering on and on. The best strategy would be make an educated guess about what happened here, then interrogate everyone about it. Maybe you'll take someone by surprise. Drop a hook on them. The wire trap is a chip in the broken glass bottle on the floor. Absolutely sure it belongs to Kaiser. Kaiser, the elusive information broker, the talk of the city, finally got an excuse to nab him. I understand. I think I have an idea how to use it to find him. Should I notify Kadir? Scribble scribble takes longer than before. So yeah, I'll be meeting you up with Kadir. You stay here, sister. Maybe there's something you've been missing. You're cool, doll. You're going beyond his jurisdiction, so he'll try to stop you. Whatever you do, just give me a 10-minute heads up, you know, so I can get to relative safety. For sure. It's back to the sheriff's custody for me. See you around, Julia. So this old codger couldn't have been more help. 1, 2, or 3. One. Whatever I got was plenty. See you around, D'Angelo.
I've got a plan. Now all I need is to execute it. No, all I need to execute it is a clueless bystander. This guy will do. Do you, like, need me for anything else? An upside for the somber curse can't be wiretapped. No, they can't, but people will know that they've been in the space because, as Judy said, they just come out as noise. Not really, but take a hike before the guy you've just called shows up. I can't guarantee he won't make you hurt. Oh, both my dogs are sleeping together. Will do. He puts his head down and obediently trots away down the street. I might have messed with his head a little too much using my willy kindred charms, but I needed to make him tell Kaiser where I wanted to meet, quite clearly, multiple times. Yeah, he's a cool character. I would have given him the kiss as a thanks at least, but I've told the big man I won't be here all night and he'd be in bed in a hurry, so I want to be ready whenever he comes. Less than 15 minutes later, a menacing black limo takes a fast sharp turn into my street and stops right in front of me. Suddenly, something like an acid flashback hits me. I know this limo. I've seen it all around the past few days, but never thought it might have been tailing me. Still, it must have. Looks like I finally about to get some answers. Doors open and a raspy voice inside comes from within. Get the fuck in, Stawinski. I smile and accept the invitation. There he is, Kaiser, the king of New York City's information highways, surrounded by screen speakers and newfangled technology gizmos all around, of all kinds. First impression, he's one repulsive son of a bitch. So I just hit my mic there. D'Angelo was also a surat, and he might have had similar physical disadvantages, but at least he was wholly endearing. With this guy, there's no room for any kind of sentiment. He's inhumanely cold, and I get the feeling he's been like this for ages. You're getting on my nerves, little lady, and far from being the only one. I get the sense he meant for all this to be threatening. Instead, I'm elated. After a week of running around like a headless chicken, I'm sure if I was going anywhere, finally I get a compliment. Yeah, this is Kaiser. If there's one thing I learned back in Lodestar, it was that you only know you're doing your job correctly when someone powerfully gets visibly mad. Don't piss me off, old man. If you want to escalate, I can escalate, and there's a lot of expensive shit you probably wouldn't want to break. Ah, yes, I did hear and your tech don't get along. Is that why you left the mess down and Is that why you left that mess down in double spiral basement? He scoffs at me with pure contempt. Listen, I will speak as plainly as humanly possible to get this through your little head, since it's obvious you're not willing to read the obvious signals. You were hired for one thing, and the one thing only, little lady, to suck at your job, and you couldn't even do that correctly. I don't think he is. Kaiser's interested in his power resides in information. I do not think that he would be interested in killing Callihan unless there was something growed for him for it, i.e. more information and power. People keep stopping by my limo this week telling me, Kaiser, dear Kaiser, we keep trying to make her understand how hopeless she is, but she just won't get a clue. She doesn't have any evidence, she doesn't have any testimony, but she'll go around knocking on everyone's doors causing disturbances. It's still a fucking headache. Usually I just try to be a jovial host so I cheer them up. She's not that much of a dunce, I say. She's making mountains out of molehills to make herself seem useful. I say, she's about to stop. But you, in your infinite idiocy, decided to prove me wrong in the most spectacular fashion by knocking on my very own door, forcing my hand, threatening me even. Oh, I'm just going to take a drink before I read that, because that's a little bit of an insult, the first one, but kind of funny. Are you autistic or something? Huh? Can't read basic fucking social clues for 1 second and ask yourself, Koi Bjorno, you even fucking want... Who even fucking wants you to solve anything, let alone this case? It's like those first two questions, fucking funny. Someone who's autistic. You bastard. See, this city has a delicate system set in place. Usually it's flawless, but ever since you started tinkering with it, it's been having these irritating malfunctions and it's driving people... Are you done? A weird, disgusting sound, something between a gargle and a bark, escapes his throat. Unbelievable. All I'm hearing is that you're in possession of something information that might help me solve the puzzle I've been presented with. If that's the case, I'm going to ask you to share it. I swear, you're absolutely irredeemable, you fucking garbage dump of a woman. How do I get through all the rubbish in your head to drive my point home? Don't you know who I am? 1, 2, or 3? Julio is the CEO of racism. Are you sure? I'll choose one in a moment. I'm just going to go through that dialogue and see where... How's she racist, sorry? I have to go and grab that delivery. The first option I saw was number 1. I don't even remember what it was now. Lots happened. Your opinion of mine is completely irrelevant, Kaiser. I want intel, I want the truth. If you're not going to give it to me, we could take it to my superiors. He bites his lips so strongly it would certainly bleed if he was still alive. Fine. If you want to do it this way, I have an idea. You want to know who pulls the strings? Give me 10 minutes, I can arrange a meeting. But this is your last chance to turn back. If you don't, I can tell you now, you're going to be sorry. The big kahuna. Finally, now we're talking. Yes, the big kahuna. So this is your final answer, huh? Hello, Ollie. Hello, Ollie. Oh, you just flop on my lap. Oh, yes. Oh, you're so cutie. You big cutie. Gonna go for the big final showdown. So I forgot I was doing something on YouTube. Absolutely. Unbelievable. He takes out his phone and begins furiously typing. I relax in the seat. Finally, we're getting somewhere. It might be dangerous, yeah, but at least I'll finally get a clue of what's going on. I'm just saying, this is the point of no return. My boss doesn't fuck around. Best case, you're going to beg him to take you in. Whatever. He keeps grumbling under his breath, but I'm not even listening. I just watch the streets go by. Until out of the blue I experience a strong sense of foreboding. I first spot her in the corner of my eye. I wonder maybe doing some Oblivion stuff with fights could be interesting. Well, Grim, we have no control whether we use disciplines or not, other than they just appear on the screen, so we might not even get the chance to fight. This is, after all, a visual novel. Like, there's not much choice here. I first spot her in the corner of my eye. She's hovering right next to Kaiser with an expression that's impossible to discern. When she speaks, her voice is machine-like, yet otherworldly. Fine. We're 5 minutes away or so. Get the boys ready to give her the Mel Gibson special. The moment he puts away his phone, the silhouette disappears. We're 5 minutes away. I wonder what generation is Kaiser. Probably an elder. Who doesn't hate the Nosferatu, not hiring person. The Nosferatu are actually my favourite clan. So brew on that for a moment. Better start figuring out the ways you might prove yourself to be useful to the honcho. There's no honcho. Oh my god, of course this motherfucker is setting me up. I need to get out of here. Now. I do the first thing that comes to mind. I grab the door and pull the door handle and pull. He noticed me scrambling and struggles to grab me. Hold up, you stupid fucking cunt. Glass breaking, loud thuds of something heavy hitting the asphalt? Tires screeching. I think he grabbed me. I think he tried to pull me back in. I think we fell out the limo. I think his body cushioned my fall. But I'm struggling to process what's going on. It's like I'm blanking out. When I come to, he's already attempting to get up, cursing under his breath. The limo has stopped a little further in, but whoever the driver is, he's not coming out. I don't like... No, Kaiser is quite an arsehole. I like his character, sure. Fucking... Whenever he stands up, he'll be out for vengeance. He's an older vampire, knows how strong he is. I need something that will give me the advantage. The pepper spray. Of course. It probably won't be as effective as it would be on a living person, but it's still worth a try. I limp towards the asshole, disarm the device and aim towards his eyes and unload the entire canister. Ah! It worked. It actually worked. I keep up the offence. I punch, kick him, throw him around. I pummel him, so I smash his head against the curb. I struggle to harm him in any way I can, like a frightened animal. Alpine races against the Nosferatu. Must be a Toreador. I don't know how long it lasts, but maybe 1 minute. Might be an eternity. The driver steps out of the limo to help his boss, but once he sees what I'm doing, he runs away in a panic. Feels... good. Yeah, Julia is Sean. She's got potence. Then again, so does the Nosferatu, and she's had the one up on him. I'm sure if Kaiser, if it was the other way round, Kaiser would completely obliterate. Feels absolutely horrible. Once I'm done, I'm sitting on the curb, scream my lungs out and avoid crying. Then I look at him. Ooh. He seems shocked, barely hanging on. What level of potence does she reckon she has? After that display and after that bit of art, quite a bit. I know what I've done was extremely stupid. I did how he's one of the most influential figures in the city. But that's probably why he's never expected to get his ass whooped, especially by someone like me. When he speaks again, his voice is pathetic, surprisingly close to a whimper. You'll pay. You'll fucking pay. You lost, mislaid and abandoned the property of a woman. He's unwell, talking nonsense. I approach him again. You wanted to have me whacked. What do you think, I'm stupid? You needed to be taught a lesson. Well, would you look at who ended up being teaching who? Now talk. Tell me everything you know about Callihan's final death. All of it. Go to hell. You can fuck me up however bad you want. I'm still not going to tell you shit. You try anything, there will be consequences. There will be retribution. My mouth is shut. He might be my last chance to solve this case, but if I don't force him to talk, he won't. There's a burgeoning thought in my mind, but it scares me even. Dare I push him to the edge, make him suffer until he squeaks? Looks like we're going to gain a trait here, folks. 1 or 2. Hello, cat. 1 it is. Know thyself. The end justifies the means, brackets. Duh. And the trophy that came up was Know Thyself. Well, I'm sure you will open your mouth if I do this. I put his shin against the curb. Wait, what? And kick with all of my strength. Ah! It's a compound fracture. I barely managed to suppress my gag reflex. It feels like I'm dislocating. You fucking psycho! You fucking psychotic bitch! He's actually weeping. Like a child. It totally shatters the touch image he was trying to project earlier. Like, this is the first time anyone has ever used physical violence against him. What if it is? You either start talking or the other leg goes. Then the hands. Then I will get creative. I tried to collect myself and put his other leg against the curb. I'll talk! I'll fucking talk! The kick connects. It's a light one, a sadistic feint. It's still manages to get a pathetic whimper out of him. And while it's on my head, forms the Camarilla, which is why the role of Kierseed already filled for the start. Then talk, but this better be good. He looks at me with a pure fury, then begins to speak through clenched teeth. You want to know who was in Callihan's office before died, little lady? Everyone. Fucking everyone and their mother was there. Von der Weyden, Elsine, Arturo, Panhard, that Keimer douche motherfucking talk with his sidekick. All of them. Callihan thought that was the only way out, was to pit them all against each other, or to ally with every single one of them. Little did he know that it was all in the best interest for him just to fucking die. That's good, that's great, but who killed him? I have no fucking idea. That won't do. Once again, I put his leg in a potentially disastrous position. In response, he starts howling manically. You fucking sadist! You fucking monster woman! I really have no idea! Who kept complaining to you about me? Who was responsible for getting rid of the evidence? Everyone! Everyone did! Goddamn Callihan had got on everyone and antagonized everyone, so it took everyone to fucking bring him down. All evidence is gone. Every theory is equally true, so none of it is. Don't you see, you fucking cunt? Everyone is complicit, so nobody is. Why the fuck do you think Sophie Langley is no longer around? Why his talk is no longer pretending to be revolutionary? Why are free agents involved? Why are they shutting you up tomorrow? Shutting me up? Who? Can't you connect the dots, you dumb whore? What are you, a fucking retard? Somebody's out to get... Julia! I look back over my shoulder and see Coteires. Bloody hell, what is wrong with you? Coteires, you're out of control. This is why I didn't want you to get involved. I had a hunch. You want to come up too, Emma? You want to see Julia getting absolutely wrecked by Coteires? Let's move the table out the way. That's my drink on it. Come on. I love that she's a sadistic monster, but still a half-glass optimist. I had a hunch that the moment you get a whiff of true power, all brakes will be off. Bullshit. You're out of your damned mind. I should have you in for a potential masquerade breach. Just let me explain myself. This ugly fucker tried to have me beaten, maybe even killed. Do you even care about that? I have no fucking idea, Sheriff. No idea. She's dangerous. Psychotic. Shut the fuck up. I can't control myself. I kick him while I know it will hurt him the most. Ah! My fucking leg! Stop this right now, you goddamn idiot! I freeze in place. I've never heard him use that tone with me. I will take care of you in a moment. In my car. Kaiser, hold on. I'm not done questioning him yet. It looks like there's a major conspiracy theory too. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're going to be glad I leave it at that. If you do that, I'm going to have to assume that you're complicit. That's worth 2 strikes in my book. You don't want to risk a third. Oh yes, Coteires has a 3 strike rule, like baseball. And if we have a 3rd strike, he's going to kill us. So that's that. Tell me, was all of my footwork even for? We'll be seeing each other, little lady. Can you hear this? Go home, Julia. But... go home. Fine. I will. But before I do, I take a quick peek into Kaiser's limo, still abandoned a little further down the street. I skipped the church visit tonight. I want more time to finish this report. Who knows? It might be my final one. I want to spend more time with Dakota. Yeah, just forget about the rest of the world. A lot happened tonight. If I could still manage to be at our apartment an hour earlier than usual, she would be glad. Yep. It's going to get worse for Julia, that much is for certain.
I sneak into the apartment as silently as possible, trying to surprise her. Whenever I reach the bedroom, I see something unexpected. It hits me like a ton of bricks. At the beginning, I can't properly pass the sight. When I finally understand what I'm looking at, it causes a wave of terror and disgust to swell up inside my chest. What the fuck? She's shocked to see me, doesn't know what to do. She's like a deer in headlights or a schoolgirl poorly trying to hide her misdeeds from a teacher. Oh, she's not with someone else, is she? You're early. Yeah, I am. These are my clothes, Dakota. These are my cigarettes. That's my jewelry on the table. Yeah, I was, and I'm pretty sure... God almighty, I thought I was just being neurotic whenever I noticed something dreadfully familiar in you. I can explain. Please do explain. A good 10 seconds of awkward silence pass. I can see her spending an eternity in her head. This isn't what it looks like. Oh my god, it's exactly what it looks like. We'll just come out and say it. Dakota, are you single white femaling me? It all makes sense now. No. Come on, no. I thought I was the leech in this relationship. We watched that movie together. We made fun of Jennifer Lass and laid together. A roommate stalking and imitating her own roommate. Ha ha ha. What a concept, right? But I was being fed in a far more sinister way without knowing it. Don't be silly. Silly? I've never been this serious with you. So whenever she put on my makeup, whenever I used her as a mirror, she was always hyping me up because she wanted to live vicariously through me. So many little things make sense in retrospect. The little ways you keep modulating your speech after me. The weird ways our tastes are always compatible. Some of your art feels so similar. None of it would trigger my alarms by itself, and yet... She's as humanly embarrassed as possible. Julia, listen. Don't fucking touch me. I can barely think of anything more repulsive than being put on a pedestal like this. It's like no other person is begging to perceive them as someone worse, if outright subhuman. She's paranoid. Now she went for La Sombra. I mean, this is a new concept to me, so I'm a bit confused by it, if I'm being honest. Don't be like this, Julia. Just don't. You know, this probably would be infinitely more palatable if you talked to me like a person here, not like, I don't know, your fucking mummy. You know what? Fuck you. I've been locked in this apartment by myself because of all the pandemic shit going on. It's fucking me up. I know you have it hard right now, so I don't want to bother you. Yeah, I was counting on you to ask about how I'm feeling, babe. How is it your work-life balance? Aren't you feeling claustrophobic? Hey, is it just me, or is our drug supply weirdly shrinking too fast? But no, you're all too much self-centered bitch. You regularly suck me dry, and it's okay, but the moment I entertain the thought of taking something in return, I'm crossing a line. Oh no, I'm a member of an immortal elite secret society. It's hard to cope, Dakota. Whenever I gracefully decide to visit our apartment, it's just... Let's just do what I enjoy until the pain stops. Fuck you. Fuck you. Sincerely, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. There's nothing you can do but take. And you should have learned by now, just taking won't make you happy, you big dumb bitch. Stop. Just... I'm destined for better things than... this. Get the fuck out of here. You disgust me. Dakota breaks down crying. She grabs a jacket and purse and runs out the apartment. I don't try to stop her. I stand there for a short while in silence, then lock the door. Did she take her keys? I don't know. I don't know if I care. I desire for something else, not for myself. I know a way to open a different world, not get locked back in mine. I collapse into the soft bed. I smell her perfume. I always liked it, but now it makes me slightly nauseous. I try not to think of Dakota. I think of Kaiser, I think of Coteires, I think of Callihan. No matter what I think, I sense doom. I feel that I've just sealed my fate, whatever it may be. Everything fucking sucks. Back into the void. Back into the void. Back into the void.
For me, it always starts with an image. The Shroud. An image which might appear vaguely eerie or interesting, but usually not an image that would provoke particularly strong feelings by itself. Usually it hides a mystery, that much is correct. She could have ghouled Dakota. Well, I think her mind's on other things at the moment, to be honest. But that mystery doesn't exist without a text, or more specifically, a context. Context is everything. One way or another, you need to process that you're looking at. Maybe that context will be something you've heard or overheard. Maybe, although it's quite rare and pretty special, it would be your own creative, captivating, complete interpretation. A ghost of an idea. Is this half-forgotten memory of something unspeakably beautiful I will never ever see again? Well, they can ghoul people. There's a whole... They do ghoul people, but they have their own purposes. I actually talk about a whole group of warrior La Sombra ghouls in my La Sombra podcast episode, if you want to check that out. Just a scene from a movie, a fragment of a music video, an animation. Or maybe this really is the last thing Callihan ever saw in his own life. Warm sunbeams caressing his skin, turning into ash. A giant ball of fire engulfing his body in flame from 93 million miles away. Was he terrified? Was he grateful? There's no will, no suicide, no nothing. Instead, we can only count on what the local historians will write, presumably letting their biases shape the narrative one way or another. Thank you, I hope you enjoy it, and the rest of the Law by Night podcast. What am I looking at here? A horrible, laughable hall of mirrors? A creep whom I never ever want to see again? A vampire much more despicable than myself? Or maybe someone who loved taking care of me and deserved to be cared for in return? Funny thing, whenever I was high as a kite, mentally lost in dimensions parallel to ours, she was my anchor. Our shared history, my feelings for her were an anchor, or in V5 terms, a touchstone. Matthew McCoveney, returning to his estranged daughter from the other side of the cosmos, from behind the event horizon, guided by nothing but love. Then, whenever I get back to planet Earth for a week or two, I was haunted by a memory of that affection. I was the best possible version of myself towards her. But that haunting always refused to transfigure into something real. What gradually took its place were angry, disappointed thoughts, and among them one thought that I was always trying to suppress. I need someone who knows how to raise me up spiritually, but all I have is a sycophant who's always working her ass off to lift me up without understanding what I need. It's hurting us both. What clan would the Irish be part of? All the clans, they don't choose people by race. Although that being said, I imagine a lot of the Gangrel offshoots would gravitate towards Ireland. I know the Lianan bloodline certainly did. Having these words pop up in my head hurt me because they had a ring of truth to them, but also because I knew they must be another narrative, a better narrative. I was just too stupid to find it. Story of my life, story of my unlife. I still have no idea what I think about this city. I had my the best city in the world phase, I had just a playground for wealthy fucktards phase, now I'm in a search for a better description. One day, probably, I will stumble upon, like, a piece of writing or a prestigious TV show scene that will contain just that, and suddenly I will look at this place with new eyes. Or maybe I won't. It's like the frustrations I had back at Lordstar. All these words constantly trailing behind reality, trapping you in useless mindsets instead of bringing enlightenment. Fuck all those flashy writers whose main concern is furthering their own brand. Douchebags who present you with limited, pathetic, depressing realities where they are kings. Fuck them all to hell. We need words that will paint a brighter future before our eyes. But what if that can't be without reinterpreting the past first? What if we can't define the ills and threats correctly?
Once again, my thoughts return to the same visual that has been tormenting me for almost every waking moment of the past week. A senseless demise devoid of any context. A crime scene stripped of evidence. An image created by an unknown artist designed to leave you dumbfounded. The investigation is over, all the possible avenues explored, all the non-testimonies are in, no concrete evidence found. The play is almost complete, the actors ready to leave the stage. It is what it is. I failed as a detective, maybe through no fault of my own, but again, it is what it is. This case, this scene, this picture never needed an investigator. From what I understand, all the people in the charge ever wanted was a talented writer. What if? A ghost of an idea.
Just gonna have a drink. When I wake up, the coat is still not here. I don't know how to feel about that, so I just don't. Coteires hasn't left any messages by the door. Still that mad, huh? He'll probably appeal to the court to take me off the case, and if half of the garbage Kaiser was spouting is correct, he shouldn't have much trouble convincing everyone else. I look at the mirror and stare at my warped non-reflection. This place is upsetting. You need a change of scenery, girl. The depressing streets of a locked-down New York City will do. I think of God. Maybe that's why I half-consciously pick the cathedral as my destination. I think of the silver cross adorning my chest, an empty signifier. Whenever someone asks me why I wear it, they hear a different story. I think of these silhouettes that I keep spotting from the corner of my eye. No, I don't ever want to imagine what that means. I feel what it means, and it makes me nauseous enough. I think the silhouette she's talking about, the ghosts, the spectres. I think of my clan, so closely tied to the Catholic Church. It's a loveless marriage, so to speak, like, for example, the one between my parents. I think about the great irony of the La Sombra's truce with the Holy See. We are the only ones who stay so close to the Lord's light, even though we're certain we'll never, ever reach it. Some of us shadows have visions of comrades who departed the world recently, travelling through some abstract space, one that's disturbing and astonishing in equal measures. They almost reach whatever afterlife is for our kind, and then get caught and consumed by a dark, monstrous silhouette. The rumour is our antediluvian wasn't stopped by his final death. He's still out there, behind the shadows, taking revenge for our patricide, feeding on us like Saturn devouring his children. I mean, the most commonly accepted theory with the La Sombre antediluvian that he was diabolized by the clan, but of course it's impossible to say. As Dakota would say, it might not be factual, but it is an emotional truth. From joining the Camarilla to panically scrambling from any safe house, it's like our elders are solely motivated by fear. The sins of our father catching up with them, and it's young kindred like me who are given responsibility to clean up their mess at the constant sense of doom and loom over the horizon. We don't talk about salvation anymore. We're just minimizing the impact of damnation. That's no way to live, but then again, maybe that's why they call it unlife. Shit. It's Benoit.
Hello there, lost sheep. I'll have you know the shepherd was extraordinarily patient in waiting for you. I wonder if you can have La Sombre just hopping vampire to vampire through diablerie. I'm sure there are some nut jobs out there that do that, especially if they have succumbed to the Methuselahs first. What are you doing here while the night is so young? Out for blood? Well, you're in luck. This place offers both the blood and bloody, or both body and blood. If missionaries learned their methods from pick-up artists, they would all be like this guy. I'm not in the mood, you sorry-ass bum. Step the fuck away from me, or you're gonna be sorry. Oh my, something troubling you? If so, I can arrange a confession. Or, if you're in a hurry, keep in mind, the path from inner turmoil begins with a friendly ear, and I've got one right here. Korwa Jebnetwaja, you want me to fuck you up, don't you? Julia, as you should know by now, I always interpret this kind of response as preaching to the divine as the devil stirring inside. Is that what it is, Julia? The lie and the father of lies got a hold on your soul. If so, gives me a signal, even the smallest one. I'll do my best to spot it. Yes, interesting noises from me. Something swells up inside my chest. I recognise the feeling. The handbrake just broke, and I'm definitely not on level ground.
Fuck. Here we go. Listen, I've had enough, alright? Enough. Enough of your sanctimonious attitude, enough of your bracken lack of basic empathy, enough of your dumb, ugly fucking mug. You're a fucking singularity, enough of stupid, talentless, and cringe. I've met all sorts of horrible shitheads and asshats this week, and somehow none of them got under my skin the way that you do, you motherfucker. Like a goddamn Jehovah's Witness from going from door to door, except you're always knocking on my fucking skull going, "Hey, do you know God exists? Have you heard that God exists?" Like, hold on, hold it right there. When did I ever say that God exists? What? I said, what makes you think I believe God exists? Oh, now you're just fucking with me. No, I'm serious. Well, he sounds serious, at least. I'm actually speechless. I think there's been some sort of silly misunderstanding that desperately needs to be cleaned up. I'm all ears. I sure hope so, Julia. I feel like you must have ignored half of what I've been saying for you to reach those conclusions. That's very well possible, actually. It usually takes 15 seconds of him talking to me to completely get zoned out. So to avoid any further mix-ups, I'll go back to the beginning and explain the core of my religious beliefs, okay? So, I love the Catholic imagery. I cherish the tradition and law. I adore the practices and the intricacies of theology, the messages contained in the Bible. Of course I do. Does it mean that I believe that one day I'll see the big dad in the sky? Forgive me, Lord, but I don't think so. Does it sound very likely, especially for a bloodthirsty creature of the night? So, that's what this is about. Fun imagery. That's overly simplified, but yes, I suppose you could say that. Motherfucker, you ain't Catholic, you're just a weirdo cosplayer. Says a non-practitioner who still wears a cross. Yes, but I don't shove it down people's throats for fun in my spare time. I'm simply trying to share the joys religion has brought to my own life with others. What a fucking toreador. What joys? Oh, where to start? There are so many. The joy of having plenty understandable rules to follow, the joy of having structure to your life, the joy of always knowing where to find people who share your values. Above all, it's all joys of being an aristocracy, surrounding yourself with exquisite, luxurious architecture, beautiful classical music, ornate rituals formalising your actions and relations. You did call the imagery, a pursuit of virtue separating you from the masses, the hierarchies, the communities, all serving an idea greater than themselves. It's like monarchy of some Camarilla traditions, but not as gauche. So that's what it is. You see pretty paintings and buildings and thought, hell yeah, I want in, and then you just decided they mean to you. Oh, don't get me wrong, I feel like this faith brought me to the fold, but eventually I whittled down this religion to its core, to what interests me. Unbelievable. Yep. Dat aesthetic, though. But don't think for a second I wasn't empathetic when I was trying to convert you. You are the embodiment of the existential despair surrounding us, the one that people usually try to drown out with drugs, sex, work, Netflix, pick your poison, all them temporary copes. Empty yourself, kill your ego, get a routine, joy a community, ground your mortality in something tangible, start perceiving yourself as part of something greater. All of your good advice by itself, by coding it to appealing otherwise aesthetic, one that keeps the beast at bay, one you're almost fitting into the way you are. What's there to hate? Unbelievable, you're goddamn lunatic. He looks to the sky. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Stop that, your entire ideology is just aesthetics, you fucking loon. And how exactly do I differ from anyone else nowadays in this regard? Stop arguing semantics. No, you stop. Just look at yourself. A privileged burner who refuses to invest in herself in anything. Only started committing to anything when, for once in your own life, you were forced into a politically charged, dangerous task. Once it's over, you'll be back to being an aimless brat. desire to murder increases. I'm just going to have another drink. Gosh, I need to wrap this up soon. Yeah. Ever since World War II, I've been watching every person, every ideal I care about wither and disappear. That's the source of my pain. That's the reason why I am what I am. There's a source of your pain, a thing that defines you. People they've been mean to, fuck off. People in third world countries keep their heads high while suffering from every sort of horror, but you have a complete mental breakdown every time you remember you have memory issues. Wow. Classy. Don't act like you have the high ground here, you oblivious sadist. All I'm saying is, everyone has a different framework, a different lens to view their suffering through. Yes, and if there's one thing abandoning your humanity should have shown you, is that the knife frameworks are not enough. Petty vendettas, childish romances, pointless power struggles, the dumb gamble that's chasing a successful career, mummy and daddy issues sore. Why not? Pain and pleasure dictate everything. Everyone wants something bigger than this. They want to escape from this drudgery. They want a psychedelia, but permanent. They want to stare at God's face, even if he does not exist. And you cannot show them how, except the cross you're wearing on your heart there. And you can show them how, except the cross you're wearing onto your heart, Julia. Accept it. Creepy fucker. Just accept it. Alright, that'll be enough, Benoit. The mood changes in an instant. The sight of Father Leonard's takes us both aback. Father, what are you doing here so early? You two are arguing so loudly I had to come out and check, even as with all the panic on the TV these days. Simply walking outside feels like marching into a war zone. Yeah, I'm sorry. You should be. I was willing to turn a blind eye to your quirks, because I believe you have it in your heart to the right place. Mostly because I'm very disappointed in the way you approach folks in need. Right now, Benoit Segal is displaying all the confidence of a scolded teacher's favourite. But I was just trying to guide her, to set her on the right path. I know, Benoit, I know. That's the problem. The sacristy is open, but please heed that right now. I need to have a long talk. Get me some coffee if you wish. But Benoit. He slowly slinks away, looking defeated, deflated, debased. I burn the moment into my retinas, etch it onto my soul, kinda hoping I'll never have to see him again, and this is how I'll remember him. Father Leonard watches him closely until he disappears from sight, then turns to me. I feel so sorry for him. I keep hoping he might someday have basic empathy through faith, but all I've done thus far is let him leave you at the end of your tether. Yeah, that's some faith he has. Are you okay with all this bullshit he's spouting? Huh? I don't exactly support it, but I don't reject it. It's like attrition and contrition. Imperfect and perfect repentance, you know. One is focused on a relationship with God, the other selfish and focused on personal gain. But both of them work. Yeah, but doesn't that strike you as completely missing the point? A bit, but purely secular takes on Christ's teachings are nothing new. Pascal's Wager is a boring example, but have you by chance read Boljagov's The Master and the Margarita? Sure, back in Poland every teen trying to look intellectual online loved to repeat that joke about the talking cat who swears he had never poured vodka for a lady because women deserve pure alcohol. I have no idea what that reference is, but I have a few Polish friends I could question about that later on. That's one takeaway from the novel, I suppose. I read it as the moving depiction of Christ, who's not divine being, stripped of mythic qualities, but open for transcendence. Jesus and Satan understood as a powerful forces battling within us. Would have read it again, but it's been too long. Sounds nice, though. I lazily take out another smoke. Leonard watches me closely before speaking up again. Julia? 4 hours from now, there's going to be a meeting in Elysium. There's a big finale at the celebrations of power. Everyone will be there, but they will count on you not to show up. The good sheriff plans to present the results of the investigation in your stead. It's the simple, crude strategy. Might work, but begs to be countered with an outrageous tactic. Take it as you will. The game is about to end. Momentarily I left dumbfounded. All I can muster is an eloquent... Eh? Oh, don't ask me, I'm just the messenger. Who relayed this message to you, then? A good friend. A cautious friend.
wouldn't be able to tell you more of that even if you forced me. Well, shit. This is the moment that might decide the rest of my days. What would you do in my place, Father? When I was faced with a dilemma that would shape the rest of my life, the world felt too big and scary and impossible to understand, so I simply escaped from that choice into the seminary. Yeah, if that's your idea of a good advice, I'm going to have to ask you to shove it. I'd expect nothing less. Don't you regret it? Regret what? You're kind of shady, but you're kind of like a bad guy. Still, you have to accept that the people above you are reasonable for some horrible things. If our superiors act caught as our own sins, then on the face of it, probably half of the people in this world are irredeemable. Clever, but not a real answer, and being a low-level grunt for assholes you find wholly objectionable is no way to live. I don't know. Is it? I finished the smoke in silence. I have to go. Don't know if and when we'll see each other again, but when it happens I probably won't be the same old me. Of course, but before I leave to scold Benoit, let me say one more thing. Yeah? These are difficult times. My parishioners keep calling me. The fiends people are going through, they might never admit, but if this keeps up, it will cause horrifying, invisible damage to this nation. A dreadful darkness is killing us all, little by little, and like every powerful evil, it manifests itself little by little. Nobody expects the Sabbat Inquisition, and yet, simple as it may be, I confess to be strangely excited. For a moment we're seeing this suffocating normal disappear. This is the time to dream a new world possible. Walk these empty streets, Julia. Remember how the city feels right now. Bask in its shadows and uncertainties. After the apocalypse comes the great rebirth. The Amici Noctis await your next report of great curiosity. The friends of the night, the heads of the La Sombre clan. I give him a nod and sprint away. Now I know what I must do. Hey, Moon, my lone constant companion. When I moved here for good form, you knew the old country. You were the only close friend who kept me company. Never felt in the right place back then. Never felt in the right place here. Especially now. When I'm not quite alive, not quite dead. Not that Slavic, not that American. But maybe it's about time to finally carve out some space for myself. It's been a long road, hasn't it? Wish me luck. And that is where we're going to leave it for today. I feel the next episode is going to be the very last one, because it really feels like it's coming to a climatic head now. 3 hours and 30 minutes, almost. Thank you ever so much for people who've been coming along and helping with the wonderful choices that we've made. It's going to be really exciting how this is going to end. I know that there are multiple endings to this game. I believe there are 4. So, basically, it's going to be down to how much are we going to suffer. Thank you everyone for coming along. I really have to dash now. You're all amazing. I love you. Listen to the Law by Night podcast, and until next time,